Welcome to the Fullcaster Podcast, Episode 1. Our guest today is Casey Cook, a friend of both Derek and I's. For sure one of our favorite people. I'm really stoked to actually bring him on later here in the second half of the show and talk to him. But before that, our first part of the show is what we like to call current events. Dirk, what do you got? You got anything for me? Nothing? You've been working all day, been pretty tough.
Yeah.
Working in the shop.
Haven't had a chance to think.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a thing right now, isn't it? We're trying to fill time, not being open to the public. Obviously, we work at CalSpeed Karting, and there's not a whole lot of karting going on right now. So obviously, you're putting a lot of time in the shop. Appreciate that, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to hold down the fort with Sarah in the office. But full transparency, though, this is episode 1. It's the second episode that's actually on the docket. But this is our first time doing recording. Right. Yesterday, we tried testing.
This would have been episode 2, technically.
Technically, with our friend and colleague Sarah, I was just talking about, and things are going pretty good. Things are going pretty good at the very beginning until one wee little thing that I forgot to do.
Well, first off, the camera died.
Yeah,
and then second, Smitty didn't hit record.
I did not hit record. We got about 15, 20 minutes in.
And we were rolling.
It was good. It was good. I actually feel really bad about it.
I don't.
Well, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, that's why.
Sarah was rolling pretty good with some stories about how she got into things. We're going to do her later in the year, hopefully, and give her the spot that she deserves, because we were doing pretty good. But yeah, so for those of you trying to start a podcast, they said so we're on Buzzsprout.
Right.
That's the deal that we're on. Really cool website. Pretty
easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And they said, hey, make sure your mics are on. Dude, our mics were on.
Yeah.
You just...
mine's on now.
You need to hit the... you didn't. I turned it on.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to hit the red circle. You have to hit the on button.
They mentioned everything except that.
Yeah, they never said record. So, no, they did. I blew it. But anyway... So yeah, we got the first part out of the way with some testing. But I figured this is the second episode for those of you who got a chance to check out again. And we are recording this. I should also, for full transparency, we're recording this on Friday, the 27th. So this is actually prior to our
Darren Mercer episode.
Our Mercer episode going live, which would be, it's already done now. But yeah. Recording this and then another couple of episodes after this beforehand to try to get some content. So things a little bit out of sorts, but that's how we're going to do things for out of the gate here in April.
Just worked out schedule-wise with no one having anything to do, and we could grab a few people right away.
And us actually getting the equipment and everything like that. So
yeah, true.
And let's talk about that for a second. So obviously a long time coming. We're going to talk about this, what will be in a couple of days. But yeah, this thing, it's been an idea we've been working on for a while. We do have a bit of a studio, if you will. It's pretty small, and if you got a chance to watch the Facebook Live thing, you're going to see a couple things on here. We've got both Derek and I's helmets, both Stilo KRT helmets. I am actually a sponsor driver for Stilo. Derek saw the light and picked one up himself.
I'm just a fan.
They are bloody comfortable.
They are pretty nice. Yeah. They're really light, which is good, and not that expensive. And compared to some of the other brands out there.
I'll tell you right now, the comfort for me is the big deal. Thing feels like it's part of your skull, which it's phenomenal. Right. But we got those on the table here. We also got a couple of prints just in front of them, which we'll talk about in a second. Shout out to Darren Mercer. We talked about him being on the live show. Our A&D cups, A New Direction. That's his company. He provided the cups for the show. Thank you so much. And the wraps. Now, I got my wrap done before the season started, just before the season started.
For LAKC, yeah.
For LAKC. And,
the week of, you got it back, actually, the helmet.
Exactly. And pretty stoked about it. First time I got a chance to have the colors the way I like them, which is kind of a bright yellow, black and blue, and a little bit of chrome. Pretty stoked with that. And I think we're going to keep working on this bit of an evolution from my last helmet.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the colors and the
it's definitely the right direction you want.
Yeah, and then like I said, the vertical stripes. I've always been an Anthony Abbas fan. Mm-hmm. I think his helmet's been.
We'll see if he's
cool.
a fan too.
Probably not. Probably doesn't know who I am. But that's where that comes from. You just got yours back.
just 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Talk about that real quick.
Well, it definitely worked out the way it was. I got it done from Tyler at Magic Graphics, just like you. And it's the evolution of my old bell that I originally wanted. So this is kind of the direction I wanted to go when I got it painted back in 2015, I believe, 2016-ish. And didn't quite come out the way I wanted to. And then I was able to take all the notes from that and give it to Tyler and show him the old helmet. And it definitely came out the way I wanted it to. Definitely an evolution of it. A little bit of changes, like you can actually see a lot of the ghosting on the helmet with the fish in the background and then the American flag in the center. And just it's a cleaner look, which is what I wanted, and it's definitely what I got. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It got the same look, but it's got its differences that you'll notice for sure. And it's the same colors, just a little bit more of that, not necessarily a chrome. I don't even know what you'd call that gray, but it has that rainbow effect to it.
Right, it's like a metallic.
Yeah. That'd be a good word for it.
No, it literally is.
Yes.
It's a good looking lid. I like the fact it's an evolution off of yours. You guys will be able to see. We actually get some pictures up, if we haven't already at this point, of what the quote studio looks like. But we also have a couple of prints on here. I want to talk about those real quick. In front of my helmet, actually, I've got one from Todd McCall from On Track Promotions. He actually snagged a shot of me in the Super Nats.
Yeah.
And that was actually from Super Sunday, I'm pretty sure. And I wasn't really in the mix. I was about halfway down the field, so I'm just stoked that he got. I think it's actually from turn one, but Todd McCall from On Track Promotions got that. Pretty damn cool. You got one from Cody Schindel of
CKN.
Of CKN, yeah, Canadian Karting News. That was from Challenging the Americas, which is actually the last time you got a chance to drive. So
yeah, geez,
that seems like forever ago.
I think that picture was, I think, Friday practice. I don't even think that was race day, but they had one of their guys out there just taking a bunch of photos, and I saw him get one of me. So that's me coming up the hill from through Scandy up towards turn 5,
going in the Grande counter direction here at CalSpeed.
Yeah, so. Saw him and I'm like, man, I hope there's a really good shot of me. And then he shows me the photo. I'm like, no visor strip. So bare bones Stila helmet, but it was a good shot. And it's definitely a long time since we've driven a go-kart around here or anyone.
Yeah, you did a challenge. I actually got a chance to do Button Willow Pro Kart Challenge, which actually Pro Kart Challenge turned out to be the I think the last competition karting event, at least on this coast.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else ran since Button Willow. I know that, let's see, that was the first weekend of March during NASCAR here, so CalSpeed was shut down.
I think a week later, Prairie City was supposed to have something, and they ended up shutting down.
They ended up,
but it was like
and Tri-C as well.
Tri-C, yeah. It was, I mean, Prairie City was pretty late to call it. I think they were just trying to wait and see as best they could.
Yeah.
For whatever club race they were having.
And weather was also playing a little bit of a part that.
Yeah, I knew they had a rain delay or rain issue with it.
And then obviously the big one was the Winter Nats. SCUSA getting canceled actually at NOLA. So obviously nothing any of those organizations could have done, really. Everybody was shutting down around them or told to shut down. But
yeah,
so the last time you got a chance to run was the last weekend of February for Challenge, and the last time I got to run was Button Willow.
2 weeks later?
1 week, very next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was 3 weekends for you then, because it was
that's right.
LAKC Challenge, then Pro Kart right after.
Yeah. So, God, it feels like forever ago.
For how busy of a start of the year we had to just
nothing
drop dead on it, you know?
Well, that's the way it is here at CalSpeed. And in karting, right? We're just nailing it.
Yeah.
CalSpeed's every single weekend from
No, this place is nonstop, and if you're not here for every weekend, you're at another track every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, either doing another club race or regional, whatever. So you're always got the trailer loaded up.
Yeah. Teams are definitely getting after it. And especially in the wintertime, it can be tough because they're going East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are actually splitting their difference. Like, I think I was talking to it was Seth Nash. He said that they had basically the team was split in half, right? Because Tyler, his kid, was here with the team on the West Coast for, I think it was LAKC, while the other half was over there doing Florida Winter Tour, I think, and it's crazy.
They had the big trailer out there for the East Coast and then the small one here. And it looked like Tyler made 10 carts fit in that small trailer in the back of his truck. It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we are recording this on the 27th of March, but it's not when we put this thing out. This is going to be April 14th that we're out. So current events for us is just that opening deal. We're actually going to be doing one of these things every week for the next few weeks until we start getting busy again with racing, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
And then we'll start going to every other week. But I think now's a good time to bring on our guest, our first actual guest that we get to talk to and actually record.
Sooner better than later.
I'm actually a big fan of this guy. I said that when I first saw him, he reminded me of me when I was his age.
Right.
Why don't we bring him on here? We got
go.
Super Series standout and complete badass while he was there. Went on to PRD, was a badass there. Shifters.
It's good in the shifter.
Kicked ass in shifters. Went on to Super Nats. Let's come on over here. Casey Cook is going to jump on in this thing.
How's it going, guys?
Casey Cook, everybody.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Representing your Casey Cook Racing brand and the Red 6 sponsorship you got.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Alleged
sir.
sponsor.
No,
Alleged,
he's
yeah.
taking care of it.
We got to get Pat to confirm that.
We're about to have a bunch of
just hands out
youngsters
hats.
in his suits here pretty soon.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So, we got
Nice.
a few guys rocking his stuff.
So right out of the gate here, but we're talking about Casey Cook Racing and whatnot. But that's not your day job per se. We'll just say a little bit about what you do on a daily. Obviously, a little weird right now with the
COVID
corona,
stuff.
the COVID and whatnot.
Currently
But
unemployed.
yeah, that's tough.
But we're gonna get back to it soon enough. Everything's gonna go back to normal. But what I have going on is just about full time at the Porsche Experience Center in Los Angeles, doing driver coaching there, and then mixing it up with something on the side with Casey Cook Racing, doing some coaching. So I'm out here at CalSpeed just about every Sunday with some youngsters, sometimes up to 3 or 4 of them at a time, and I love doing that. Love spending time with the youngsters, getting to pass off the wisdom and the knowledge that I've kind of accrued over the past couple years. And getting them to understand the etiquette of racing and getting them faster, see them progress.
Let's I think we can dive into the Casey Cook Racing a little bit more later. Obviously, you're doing that kind of on the side. You're talking about the Porsche Driving Experience. You said it was Driving Experience.
Yeah.
Now you're doing coaching there as well, right? I mean, that's kind of the deal. There, you got people in the driver's seat and you're in the passenger seat.
Oh.
That can be a bit precarious. But before we get into what you're doing there, how did you get that opportunity? Like, how did you jump into that situation?
So I think I've kind of developed the driver coaching skills over the past couple of years, and you were a good part of that, being a mentor in that department, and kind of watching what you did. But I heard that they had an opening, and I kind of needed something that followed those lines of driver coaching, and it kind of just it was perfect for me. But I didn't have any car experience, so I went there, resume in hand, didn't have a referral or anything, and I asked to talk to the chief instructor. Told him my story. I was like, hey, I've been coaching for 4 years in go-karts. I know how to get around the joint. I know how to coach. Never been in a car before. I'm a fast learner. So he conducted the last half of the interview inside the car. Took me around the handling circuit. Yeah.
He was like,
skid
you've
pad.
never driven a car? That's the exact guy we're looking for right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, never coached in a car, no car stuff, never
He's like,
raced
"We
a
need a
car around the
hostess."
track. Yeah, right. So clean the cars.
Yeah.
But took me out to the track, took me out to the skid pad, nailed it, and they passed me in 4 days of training. I wasn't ready. I didn't think I was ready, but they said I was, and they put me in the game.
I remember having that conversation with you, and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm like, right on, man. You're like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's go back to how it actually is in the car. You got some winners, you got some losers, right? It does get
Not
pretty-
losers, right? They got potential.
No, they're all winners when we get out of the car,
Got some egos, got some timid drivers.
Yeah, so you got the egos who've been driving a long time, and they've owned multiple Porsches, and you can't tell them how to drive. They've been doing it for however long, and they're listening to someone who's half their age. They don't want to listen to that guy because he's been doing it their whole life. So you got to kind of break them down, reason with them, get earn a little bit of respect from them. Then you get them to listen. On the other side of it, you have somebody who has no idea why they're there. They were brought along. They aren't good at driving, and you're talking to someone where it's going in one ear, out the other, and that's where it gets a little bit sketchy.
And you're in the
We're the
passenger seat.
passengers. It has its moments. It has its ups and downs. When you get somebody who doesn't know a lot about racing terms or racing at all or driving, or they tell you, I'm not really good at driving. And you start the session an hour and a half later, and they are so appreciative of what you just learned, where they went from somebody who didn't know how to drive that well to somebody who's understanding the ins and outs of driving, understanding balance, understanding vision, understanding grip levels. So to show somebody in an hour and a half experience that kind of changed their whole perception of racing and driving,
Right.
and it gives us a lot more respect to somebody who's an outsider. They're like, wow, this is what you do. This is what, you're racing around the track, and this is what you're thinking of constantly. But now adding other people next to you, so
You're like,
a
me?
lot.
No, but maybe you, yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely, you definitely get some appreciation out of it. They give you a whole new level of respect. But fun. It's a fun gig. Has stressful at times, but it's also fun. And they give you a $250,000 car. Be like, hey, yeah, go mess around, right? So we have a good time.
I remember the last time I was in a $250,000 car. I was very apprehensive
Is
about
that the Ferrari?
That was the Ferrari, yeah.
It's such a different drive. It's when you've been doing karting your whole life, and you step into a car. There's just a lot to take in, and I think there's, I don't know, maybe you're holding yourself back because you're in a machine that costs a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
You don't want to wad it up. A
Well,
go-kart, hey, you go fix the spindle, right?
Circumstances are way different,
I think
for
so,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, and if you have a situation like, so he's doing it for a living, right? He's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
in that. And I would assume that you do get considerably more comfortable the more you do it, right? And just like with everything else, so you get a little bit more comfortable. I can push a little bit harder, or not even push harder. Just it doesn't bother you as much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
90%. We're like, ooh, I'm getting after it. Is like 80 or 70% later, right? Because
Yeah.
you're just chilling. But yeah, I mean, kind of going back. I mean, I know exactly what you mean when I did the Ferrari driving experience. And you're in this $250,000 car, which was a Ferrari F430. Yeah, and they're like, well, we haven't had anybody ride one off yet, so don't be the first. And you're like, well, perfect. Yeah, I don't have a lot of car experience, so. But yeah, I mean, it's completely different. But as a driver, you kind of take to it like
You adapt.
Yeah, you just, wow, okay, I'm just driving something different. And it's not like at that time, I'd never been in a car. You'd obviously have driven cars, even if it was your car on the street or whatever. You do have a feeling for it. But regardless, having that opportunity to go and drive those kind of cars on a regular basis, that's pretty cool. Doing it on the side, like being in the passenger seat, I've gotten a chance to do it a couple of times. I do not envy you at all.
Yeah, that's something I
you
can't,
got
I
some
couldn't get past, I
cojones,
think.
my friend.
Like, I get worried driving next to people in a sport cart. I don't want to be next to them in a 600 horsepower car.
And you have your own car. You can swerve out of the way. Well, let's move on from what you do for a living here, full time. To how did you get into karting or racing or whatnot? How did this whole thing start? I mean, obviously you're mid-20s, 27, 8, 28.
I like mid-20s sounds
Yeah,
good to
yeah,
me.
it's bueno.
29.
Yes, 29.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Catching
That
up
just
to
makes me feel
Masters
way
is
older.
gonna be
Right?
awesome. I can't wait for Masters next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, that's not a good. I don't like that
Does it
at
start
all.
at 30?
It does start at 30 for Scusa.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
You know, you should,
It's aging me.
it will, but you'll be the youngest guy in Masters.
Oh, it'll be
I better get whatever
easier.
I need to get done now.
No
because
shit.
I'm over.
Yeah.
All those Masters guys. Yeah, you guys are good.
So, first racing memory or whatnot, or experience, like the kind of the seed that kind of gets everything else growing.
I guess I was kind of shot into it from my family. My grandfather owned a funny car, a nitro funny car in the 70s. Raced against the Snake and Mongoose and all those guys.
Dom per dome.
Don Perdome, yep. And so when I was born, we were always at the drag races, always at Winter Nationals, out of Pomona. And I kind of just, I was always going to sprint cars out here at Paris every Saturday night, or it was Irwindale.
How
for
old
some
were you?
late model stuff. I mean, this started when I was 2 or 3 probably at the drag races,
Right. Yeah.
But my whole life just going to races, never had the opportunity to actually race, but was a fan. And I learned a lot about it, and in every aspect, drag racing, going straight, you got circle track on the dirt, you're sideways going straight. And then you got, the late model circle track stuff, and Long Beach Grand Prix. I'm from Long Beach, so I think I missed maybe 5 years out of my whole entire existence on this planet. So I was surrounded by just about every type of racing, and that was my passion. I always wanted to be a race car driver. I think in like 3rd grade, they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I start talking about John Force and me wanting to be a race car driver and blah, 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 blah. Really crappy handwriting, so I couldn't tell you the whole story. But
F is backwards.
Yeah, it was terrible.
The O's even wrong.
But yeah, what I want to be when I want to grow up, a race car driver. So I think that sparked the interest.
So
interest.
You said your grandpa was doing the drag racing thing with the Nitro Funny car in the 70s. How long did you do that for? Like, how long were you going to the track when he was racing? Was he still racing?
No, he wasn't racing. He maybe raced a couple times, but he was a car owner.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I don't even know if he was good at driving.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't even know if my genes for driving came from him.
Well, it came from somebody,
Yeah.
obviously.
But I think he did it until maybe the 80s. But even after that, my uncle worked on Jim Dunn's funny car team.
Right.
Till this day, helps them out every once in a while. My dad's worked on multiple race teams, late models, funny cars, just about everything. So the passion never left, the interest of racing never left until I was born, and continued to go to the races.
So yeah, you basically are a professional fan.
Yeah.
And you're single digits into your early doubles. When do you finally become a driver? Or at least you get your first driving experience?
That's the very first time. Like, maybe let's go to go-kart world when I was 12.
Hey.
You can't take anything away from slick track, man. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Throw some baby powder down, and we're getting after it. But that was where my
track is a
dad
good
actually,
time.
you know what? Let's go back to that. That's where my dad showed me how to race clean. We're side by side, door to door. He yelled at me if I got into him. He's like, "That's not how you race." So he
Were you beating
probably
him?
gave me a. I started to beat him.
Okay.
I was also way lighter. But no, I started
at
throwing
12?
the slide. Yeah, at 12. Yeah. Slight weight difference. But that's where he showed me how to drive, showed me how to race clean, some side-by-side racing, some slide jobs, But that was it until I was 19 or 20. And that's when I met you.
Right.
So you were doing the slick track thing for 7 years.
Basically, when we'd all
On
go
occasion.
when we go to go-kart world, just
Play around.
spend time with father.
All right, let's go back to that. You say you're 20 and you're getting into the K1 deal, and you said actually you and Derek were or 19 or 20. You and Derek were doing it at the same time. So, and that's when you said things really started to progress. You want to hit that up?
Yeah. 1920, I kind of wanted to pursue the race career myself, and so when I started earning a decent check, I went to K1. That very first race, I never really, except for the go-kart world when I was 12 or 13 or whatever, and doing that for a few years.
GP series you're talking about here?
Actually, it was just a regular session, practice
like
session.
a walk-in session.
Yeah, walk-in session. And I didn't know the driving line. I didn't understand the driving line really, except for when I was at go-kart world.
Oh,
But I put
didn't even-
together-
Sorry, the go-kart world, I didn't even think about that. For those of you who don't know a go-kart world, and I've never been either, but that is all oval, right? You said
It's an oval slick track.
Well, they have the
track.
oval slick track, and then they have a few, like they have the super track or whatever. But there's not
Yeah.
really a racing line.
It's
on that.
foot down.
And
Who
just
got the
drive
faster
around.
cart would win.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
At least slick track, there's a little bit of skill involved.
There's a rhyme and a
There's
reason
actually
to it. For
there's
sure.
actually a group of guys that are still going out there, and it's almost been, I want to say 15 years that they've been going every Wednesday night, and they do a couple 50-lap races. They also hold the Fred Erskine Classic for JJ's father, who had passed away from a heart disease or heart attack or something.
JJ Erksey.
JJ Erskine, and so it's well known.
It's like
but
their
just
version.
their circle. There's just the circle track there.
It's like
just
their
the slick
version
track.
of the senior moments. Actually,
Okay.
It's just the older group that hangs out and they still
It's
do
their
it. And
bowling night once a week,
they're
but they go
good.
there.
They're
Yeah,
good.
they're really good. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, getting to race with those guys when I was younger, kind of probably sparked that understanding of a driving line when I went to K1.
Certainly the competition
threw,
side.
Yeah, I threw down the fastest lap of the week. My first session out, and I came
At K1?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I came in the pits, and I'm kind of like, the adrenaline wore off. I started shaking, and I was like, "What the heck did I just do?"
It was actually
How did
Monday
I know
morning,
that?
though. So that was you're just the fastest one at the start of the week.
So start of the week. No, I don't think so.
Derek is our
Whatever.
resident rain guy. He just
Yeah.
rains on parades.
Well,
So-
because the story gets good when we meet, and my winner's parade just stops when I meet him.
Yeah, Derek
Nice.
was first place for a second.
Yeah.
Until we
Okay.
met, and he was chasing me.
Are you guys actually friends then? Or-
Yeah, exactly.
I sometimes wonder.
We bump
It's like
into
a
each
love-
other.
It's literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I met Derek. K1 kind of sparked the fire. I started entering the GP leagues. Went up and down Southern California, all 6 centers, won every championship. Exhausted my funds there, and then found out about CalSpeed Super Series, and I think it was at the right time that I moved up into a different kart, something a little bit more competitive. You guys offered a great program. That was right around the year where 2012 you guys were getting 100 entries with the wait list.
How old were you at that time, roughly? Sorry, what year was it? I'm sorry. 1920?
2012, 2011.
2000
At the end of 2011 was when I started at K1.
End of 11.
Yeah, 2012 I started here.
Yeah.
And I simultaneously was racing K1 speed.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing both at the same time. Or I don't remember you doing both.
2012 was probably the year where I went broke and into
Yeah,
credit card debt.
Well, I'll tell you right now. So 2012, you're going around and you're hitting all the. So you're doing the local championship, like the per center championship. They've had the GPs.
Yeah, the location championship.
per location. Did they have a larger one as well? I can't.
It was Circle. They called it Circle. That
Oh,
was
that's
with-
right.
That,
And it
that
was-
was John Tanaka, Carl.
Carl
Lewis.
Walls.
Carl Walls.
Yeah.
He actually ran it. Yeah.
And there's a few guys that transferred from that Circle league to CalSpeed.
Mike
I was about to say it
Mike
wasn't
Arnold.
actually a.
But it traveled to each
It
location.
wasn't a K1 thing. It was just a group of guys that were doing it
Yep.
on their own.
It's like the MPPKI championship we
Yeah.
have here. Yeah.
Exactly.
But dude, there was a ton of talent at the K1 location. That came out here with us or they were out here before us. Then we eventually met up with them. But
Yeah, I'd like to say that we should take the credit for bringing out about half the entries that
I
you
think
have
so.
now.
We're still waiting on our commission from all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
I think
We
you
asked
get your
about that.
commission bi-weekly.
Hey,
Oh,
Mike,
nice.
Mike shut that down real quick.
but man, it
You
was
already got your commission when you worked here.
Yeah.
like I remember it was a GP that was towards the end of me doing GPs because I think I did 2 Super Series at this point, and came back and it was Robbie did a few. Robbie Stanovich did a few, and he did them I think after I had Googled it and started talking to him and whatnot. But we all show up and he did a few already. I next thing you know, I jump out, do a few, and then we start talking to you about it. And then it's me, you, Robbie, Matt Widner, a few of the guys. Next thing you know, we're all out there doing Super Series, and the K1 it was a slow stop for us because we still had a ton of fun going there and hanging out. It was a really slow stop for us before all right, we gotta spend our money wisely now.
Yeah, there was a point where we were overlapping CalSpeed events, CalSpeed practice days right before the Saturday race where we'd come out here, stay the night out here.
Yeah.
And then still doing the GPs and
On Sunday.
Yeah.
It was Friday practice,
Sunday
Saturday
evening,
race,
GP.
and that's normal now, right? That's what we're all used to doing.
that's no problem.
Sorry
yeah.
to kind of put almost a pause, but let me rewind a little bit. Let's talk about how you guys met at K1. You had said that
I hated him.
You were racing. Where were you racing?
I didn't know
Derek?
this.
So I started at Anaheim because I believe that was the second or third location.
And you're living in San Pedro.
Yeah, so I was living in
You're
San
living
Pedro.
in Long Beach, and where was your home track? Torrance.
Yes.
and you're Anaheim.
At
should have
this
been
point,
Torrance.
At this point, I had started at Anaheim because that was the first track in SoCal. Every
Oh.
other track was in San Diego. They had 1 or 2 locations down there. Anaheim came around, and then Torrance eventually opened up, and that became the home track for him and I. But yeah, I remember doing the GPs, and you were just super super standoffish, and I was like, God, it was
When was this? So because you
Man.
started in 11, right?
That was early 2012.
Early
it's
12.
got to be that, yeah.
And what did you
2012.
do? When did you start?
I was going since probably beginning of 2011 or so. So I
Okay,
mean,
so you
well,
had
at Torrance.
you had way more experience
At
than
Torrance,
Casey.
I had started around 2011 when they opened. Yeah,
Wait, Torrance opened in 11?
maybe, I don't know. I don't work there, but
Derek,
no, I
matter
can't
of
remember my
facts.
timeline. But
There
I
was
had
five
already-
five original locations that kind of popped up within a couple years.
and those were that stayed around for a while, and then they kind of blew up after that.
I was gonna say because we had one in Washington.
Yeah.
It was just garbage.
Yeah,
It was
that's what I
a
heard.
basement of a Ethan Allen. It was like a 10-second track. Anyway, going back to
But I
you're,
did,
you're
uh,
already running the GPs.
Yeah,
Right?
I did the
And then-
Anaheim thing for like probably a year of just driving because I actually wasn't old enough to do the GPs.
That's
at
right.
This point.
You had to be 18. They
Yeah.
were strictly enforced. You had to be
You
18.
had to
He was
be
only
18.
17. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
wow.
their thought was,
So you were good enough. Credit
at the-
credit where credit's due. You were good enough at 17
right.
to go run the GPs on the Sunday.
Because at a point, I think they had so many people that were under 18, so many kids that were under 18 that wanted to go race. They said, screw it, because they didn't have any junior kart back.
Yeah, it
junior
makes sense.
karts back
Or they
then.
could have put him in a junior cart when you have a 5.5 foot
Yeah, true.
15-year-old, 16. They
Right.
can't fit in a junior cart.
Right.
So the junior karts didn't exist back then. So it was, I mean, at one point, it was if you're big enough and you can fit in the cart, you can race the GP.
If you're
And,
fast too. Yeah. I mean, there was some kind of race director decision,
Yeah,
But-
because let's be
Manager.
honest, Casey at 5'4" or whatever has never gotten big enough.
Yeah. I stopped growing in 8th grade.
But you're the biggest kid in 8th grade.
Yeah.
You reign supreme.
Yeah.
But man, I remember back then, like we were getting down to a C main at some point. Like how many groups there would be.
Yeah.
Sometimes there'd be
Yeah.
At K1.
Yeah.
50,
at
50
Torrance.
60 people at Irvine,
Irvine was huge too because they had the super track back then, and that was fun. The
So-
Irvine super track
Yeah,
was
you
awesome.
get about 7 laps to a charge.
Yeah,
Oh man,
done.
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. For those of you maybe you don't know, K1 is electric. You should. I mean, I think if we're listening to the
hopefully know
Fullcaster
what the hell's going
podcast, a
on.
karting conversation, there is going to be some K1 knowledge. But so Derek, you're running at Anaheim. And
Yeah.
you're doing the GPs there. You're rolling all over the place. Your home track is actually Torrance, so you're not going to see each other immediately until you start doing I'm going to go all over the place and start doing the GPs. So is the first time you see Casey at one of these GPs that you're dominating?
It was at Torrance. Yeah, I mean, once Torrance.
Were you dominating?
No, I was. Once I started racing, the first race I came to, it was Steve Jasinski, David Kelmelson, Mike Arnold, Paul Sorelli,
I love these names. That's
Casey
awesome.
Cook,
Yep. John
Right.
Tanaka, he never
John
really came out
Tanaka.
here, I don't think.
Emilio Garcia,
Emilio.
another guy that never came out. The
Emilio.
third,
Shout out.
yeah, another guy that never came out here. I really wanted them to come out here, but
Robbie was a part of this too.
Robbie, Matt, there's probably a solid 10. John Perry, another guy,
Mm-hmm.
and the A-Main was legit. It was pretty fun to watch.
So
Yes.
you're traveling around, you're doing the thing. Derek, you were doing your deal, and were you already transitioning? When was your first year out here?
was 2011.
Was 11. So
Actually, I want to say it was end of 2010. I think I did I did 2 Super Series in 2010, and then I did a 6-hour. That was when you and I
That was
did that
us,
actually.
yeah.
So maybe we're a year off. I think a year before everything.
Yeah.
So I did 2 supers, came back to K1 for a GP. Robbie, Matt, and I are all talking about it. And we're like, Casey, you should go out there. And we're telling about everything and whatnot. And we're like, hey, there's a 6-hour coming up. Or I think it was a 4-hour, actually. 4-hour, but
End
we
of
got
11.
which was actually the first race I was race director here because I actually
Oh,
started here in
wow.
11. Yeah,
That's why I didn't win.
We all nice. We all technically started here at CalSpeed about the same damn time.
Wow.
End of 11.
Wow.
So to fast forward a smidge, you guys meet each other indoor. Derek, you're pretty much handing over the torch, saying that Casey is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
While he
100%.
was there, but you were already on that transition phase to going outdoor here at CalSpeed in the sport cars and Super Series, and there was only Super Series at that time and
Right.
Enduros. So because it is the Casey Cook episode, so Casey, you keep doing the K1 thing, going to the GPs, and then coming out here and running in 12. And that was at that time, to your point, we had over 100 people. It was literally like the second largest karting club that you could get
Right.
into. We had over 100 entries, 120 entries with the cap, and we got there several times.
Wow.
And had a wait list.
And had a wait list.
for a number of those events.
And so we're talking, D main, 20 or it's going to be 30 people on track at a time. Casey's out here. He's rolling. You're going for the Rookie of the Year championship because we had the Rookie of the Year championship at the time. And real quick, I can remember. Well, maybe I'll talk about it in a second. But you go from. I mean, you hadn't done K1 that long. You hadn't done indoor very long. You come out here. What's that experience like for any indoor driver, anybody who's doing K1, who's doing electric karts? And the karts are different now, to be fair. But what's that transition like, and what are those guys going to potentially expect?
I think a lot of it's going to be the understanding of carrying momentum. The electric karts have a little bit more acceleration out of the corner versus the Super Series karts, our rental karts here, where the speed out of the corner isn't there. And really keeping the momentum up is very important. But also the other thing is that in the K1 karts, because it seems that you don't have a lot of grip on the track, there's not a lot of tire pickup for rotation, you really got to lean. So when I came out here, I had the worst lean possible, leaning over the steering wheel.
It was funny.
It was really funny. How's he going so fast with the lean, right? Yeah, so I had...
You were not saying you were going...
I didn't think so. But, yeah, I had to figure out how to sit back a little bit and really feel the kart more or less, using my butt to feel the grip levels and carry the momentum. Bigger track. It's not as tight as a indoor kart track. The turns are one after another right away, real quick. Everything's a little bit more spread out here. So momentum, that's the biggest thing, transitioning.
So you do the Super Series. First race out, he wins a C main. That's not what we would refer to as phenomenal.
That's a good start.
At the time, it's not bad because that's if you're making this transition, right? Anyway,
I'm surprised that you remember this. Out of all the racing that you've been a part of out
Becky,
here,
he's been trying to forget.
So sweet. It's flattering.
My wife Becky would say the same thing. It's like I'll remember things about racing, but she'll ask me about something simple or not even simple, like really important, like when were we married?
You know who remembers everything about racing though? Mark Connell.
Oh, yeah.
That guy remembers what number he was in back in 2014
He'll
in
get
the second heat race.
Yeah, he'll get his episode. Anyways, so Casey wins the C main, and the start of the B main. Promptly crashes, or I should say, get involved in a crash. In a crash.
Back up. What place was I already up into?
Oh no! See, this is where only you would know. We don't
what-
care about
I was
that.
in ninth place.
Yeah, so he says.
Like 3 laps in, dude.
so
I was
he
like
probably-
ninth or 10th
Probably
Well,
cut the track.
to avoid the mayhem.
Anyway, long story
it's not
short, he ends up crashing.
Tie rod.
Yeah, and busted tie rod. He's out. So the start of Casey's Arrive and Drive Super Series career here. C main winner, B main crasher.
He walked away with the trophy.
He did. He walked away with the trophy.
And a bill.
And a bill. And a bill.
I don't know if I paid that.
I'm sure you did. Because
You worked it off about a year later.
It was at that time it was 2012, which means I wasn't doing a whole hell of a lot in the clubhouse over here. It was Brad Packard, and you damn sure know that Rob Niles made sure that
for
thing
sure.
was paid for.
Rob was the great guy. He was on top
He
of
was on
everyone.
top of it. So, anyways,
The second race.
we don't care about your second race, bud.
Jeez.
But I will say this: he goes on at the end of 2012 and wins Rookie of the Year over Chrislyn Queener. You want to talk about things that I can remember?
Wow.
Chrislyn Queener, who actually did lead the points for a chunk there. Queener was the point leader. It was basically the two of you. Queener, her brother, I believe, Jeremy, has got some dirt experience, and then actually he does what do you call it? Figure eights.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You want to talk about nuts? Oh, but we get him on the show at some point. Anyway,
That'd be rough to do.
we can go on tangents on this. I don't know if it's going to make the actual cut, but
Well, really
we're actually
quick, when you were going for the rookie championship, that was your first time fighting for hardware. Damn the K1 stuff, right? Because I think at one point, the K1 stuff, you kind of thought you had it handled.
Yeah.
You were the guy to beat.
There's a podium every race.
Exactly.
When I came to CalSpeed, there's a different type of intensity. There's a lot more pressure. You have a lot more people. And it's new. And it's not something that I picked up right away at like indoor karting, which is fairly simple to go get track time. And it's close. And I was able to work on the craft. This is a far trek for me. So coming out here was few and far in between to get practice.
He says it's a far trek. Guy went to San Diego for GPs.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
And I started working here full time too, right?
Fair.
But he only spent $50 at the
So
GP.
yeah, when I came out here, it was a different level of intensity. So when you earned hardware here, it was special, regardless if
100%.
it was a C main or if it was the A main. And I remember in that 2012 rookie year, I think I had claimed a couple podiums and found the podium a few times that year. I don't know if I didn't get a win.
No,
Didn't
but
get a win.
no, and actually getting a podium in your rookie years, it's stout. Especially we talk about back then. But
And yeah.
I mean, when I first saw you, I thought you reminded me of when I was your age because we're roughly 10 years apart.
You're 39?
Of 38,
Roughly.
Jesus.
Yeah, I said roughly. So there's a wiggle room. Yeah, I get the
Oh, laugh
the
breath. Here we go.
Sold.
Nice.
But so, and part of it was the old school. I think it was Jeff Gordon helmet you had on there too. Come on,
Oh,
It gave me a
man.
headache. That thing
Yeah.
was so small. Jeff Gordon has a small head.
he does have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I could. I mean, I kind of have a very very similar background without getting into any of that kind of stuff. Very similar background, how we came up, etc. And I learned about that later, and it was ironic how similar we were, but just how you took to things, your demeanor, etc. was very very. Again, it reminded me of me. So when I first see it, and it's like you've got that kind of get after, kind of kill instinct right out of the gate, and you're doing that lean, and I'm like, oh, this guy's so good. He's so good at indoor. But that was me. I remember I was not terrible at indoor, and I remember when I went outdoor. I mean, most of the fundamentals I learned was indoor, but when I go outdoor, I sucked. I was not as good. In the arrive and drive stuff, I was still pretty good. But that's because I came from gas carts indoor to gas carts outdoor, and we can get into that as a whole episode right there. When I first saw you, right out of the gate, I'm like, the kid's got something. I can absolutely see the kid's got something. And as we move on through the years, etc., we're talking about the rookie year, and this is what's pretty stout. 2012 is his first year, rookie of the year. I can't remember where you finished overall in the points. It's not bad.
10th.
It's in the. Is it 10th?
I was about to say, yeah, it was pretty high
I thought
up.
it was 10th. Okay, so I thought it was double digits, but close. So, okay, you get 10th in the first year. This guy's going for the championship and is leading the championship in the final round.
The very next year.
Very next year. And,
so
and
heartbreaking.
no, I know it is. It's but it's a Casey Cook episode. 2013, leading the championship in the final round. I think we had 12 events in 2013.
At that point, yeah, I was 12.
I think in 2012, 2013.
You had 12 events because I
12
actually
events.
had 2 drops.
Proper zeros?
Yeah,
Like you weren't here at
I
all.
wasn't here. One of them it was work related with the race team. The other one I was on vacation in Hawaii.
Well,
That's
shouldn't have
right.
gone to Hawaii.
Wiggle room.
Shouldn't have gone to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's leading the championship coming to the final round. Now, he wasn't leading the whole year. You
and
actually
Sergio swapped a few times.
Exactly. It was you and Sergio Bravo. Sergio Bravo ends up having the best event he could have possibly had
Yeah.
in the finale. Wins the finale. Casey over here struggled to get through the field, and as story tells, as memory reminds me, you did not feel like people were really helping you out. Namely,
Just not helping out somebody else that didn't help me.
it was maybe it was a
Him into him.
Kirk Falcon.
I thought it was Huerta.
It probably
At that point, it was the
Hey,
whole
Chris.
field.
But
So-
I've been in both sides where you've got it and you need something bad to happen, right?
Right.
And vice versa, where you need to go get it and they ain't helping you. So I take it. But
Let me break down the situation. I had to finish within 11 spots of Sergio to claim the title. I was running 9th. Contino, final lap. Somebody sticks it in on the inside and creates 3 wide, and I'm stuck on the outside, and we're going reverse. We're going counterclockwise. I was forced off track. I joined in 12th. He's first, walked away from the field. He is gone. And I'm watching him drive away from the field as I'm watching people drive away from my championship.
Like, he was going into silk when we were exiting Contino.
how do you remember that?
Because I was right behind him when the...
Oh, you were on track?
yeah, I
he
was-
probably
oh,
saw me
wow.
throw a tantrum coming to the start-finish line with my head down. I
So-
was so heartbroken that I watched the person right in front of me that caused everything, and I don't really know who it was because it was somebody way on the inside. But that was the circumstances. You need to beat me by 11 spots. He beat me by 12, lost by 1 point.
So that right there, and before I get into my next story, huge kudos to you, however, at the banquet. So at that time, we are doing the season finale, and immediately this is 2013, so immediately following, we have our awards banquet right here on site at Auto Club Speedway in the
Impulse
building. And one of the most gracious, again, heartbreaking, but completely gracious about it. You handled it perfectly.
I did feel like it.
No, but
that was rough.
You killed it.
Well,
You
there was
killed it.
worse ways to handle it, and you did the best you could.
Yeah. So heartbreak there in 2013, and it's so weird the amount of stuff that him and I share, because I
Right.
had the exact same thing basically happen to me in 2009
Really?
at the United States Indoor Karting World Champion or Indoor Karting Championship. So it's not world, and it was John Kimbrell, who I'm trying to beat. Everybody knows
He's
now.
a familiar face, eh?
Johnny
Yeah,
Go-Karts.
that was actually his first championship, 2009. I was the reigning champion in 2008. I started last after a kart swap. He started like third, and I had to finish blank to win the championship. And I went from last out of a field of 25 or something like that to like one spot. I lost the championship by half a point and tied for second.
Oh, man.
And lost the tiebreaker.
You had to fight the other guy for second. That was
Yeah,
that was
and
the
lost the
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker. Yeah, but to go in as the point leader, and again, you go into those situations as the guy to beat, blah blah blah. But yeah. So again, one of the another weird connections that Casey and I have. So, 2013.
The Grand Nationals in 2013 ended like that
Oh
for
my
me as well.
Well, really
Top
quick.
three separated by what, 2.5 points?
Same year. So you're actually come off the second same type loss in the same year. Although you were never going to win. Steve McAleer was in that race, and I had already said he was going to win.
Well, really quick to
Weird
go
how
back
that worked.
to go back to the finale, to go back to the 2012 finale for a second. So the shit show happens in Contino. You're forced off, and because all the contact, you cut the track, but you end up losing some speed.
Kept it legal.
Yeah, I get the three guys that made it 4 wide. I get those 3 guys, and I have a run. I pass you, and I'm like, Casey's not going to like that because we're teammates.
You know what? You actually let me inside of you into the hairpin, didn't
I
you?
did. So
Yeah.
I'm like, Casey's not going to like that because we're
That's a
teammates,
best friend right there,
unofficial
guys.
teammates, and I had passed Steve Spring, which secured me for a top 20 finish. So I already knew I was good, especially after getting those next 3 or 4 guys, whatever it was. So I'm covered. And we go through Silk, and I open up for the hairpin. I kind of look over, and you weren't pissed at me, but you did a pissed off pass. Threw it in, slid it in on me in the hairpin. I let him go. I let him have it. I tried to push him the rest of the way. I ended up getting the fast lap that race. I'll throw that out there.
That lap
I don't know.
with the pass? You're welcome.
That lap, nice. But yeah, that was tough to watch because as I caught you, I saw your whole demeanor was changed at that moment.
Yeah.
Like that was the definitive point in that race that you're like, this is probably not going to go the way I want it to, But I tried to help.
Yeah, that cool down lap was rough.
Yeah.
I think I was the last person back to the grid. I took my time coming
I
in.
believe it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's strange, right? You don't want to be in it, but it's not that you don't want it to not end. It's like you don't want to live the next part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to be at scales and people are they're going to say sorry. At that point you're like, God, I hope he's light.
Getting out of the cart.
God, I hope he's light.
Somebody's
At
light.
those moments,
Jesus.
getting out of the cart sucks.
No, the whole thing. And then because I go and do Supernats and I have to explain to people what happened at Supernats 50,000 times. And
You're reliving it every
you're
time.
like, wow, that's and again, this is not even in comparison, but having to replay that story when it's that story, you're like, really? There's probably gonna be a podcast like 10 years from now where I'm gonna have to talk about it again.
Broadcast it to everyone.
Well, you know what? So I strongly believe in this. You should learn how to lose before you learn how to win. What happened in 2014? 6 of 9 races I won in PRD
Right.
and won the championship, clinched it early. So hey, does everything happen for a reason?
Yeah, I mean, no, did you losing make it better for you to? No, I don't think so.
probably not.
However, I do agree with mindset change.
Yeah.
Mindset change, and
agree.
I absolutely agree about knowing how to lose. There's a lot of There's a lot of people out there that lose very poorly. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I'm not great at it myself. I was at Buttonwillow, and my fault. I left the right rear loose on my car in qualifying, and just the battery was going down on the impact, and I didn't double check it. My fault, 100%.
Had to dig yourself out of a hole the whole day.
Well, no, not really. There was nobody there, to be honest. But I effed it up. My fault.
Right.
And I lost my temper at scales. And I yell, profanity, whatever, and that's it. I'm not a great loser, privately or semi-privately in that case. But you got to know, you learn the most from the losses.
Yeah.
Right? Not the wins.
Without a doubt.
It's the losses that you learn the most from. What am I going to do different? I always actually, to that point, I won the national championship indoors in 2008. My team won the national championship that same year as an organization. And I came back. We had a team meeting. And, okay, some of those people were like, oh, it's indoor, whatever. It's the same as anything else. We took it seriously, et cetera. And I came back and said, hey, what are we going to do different? What are we going to do better?
Yeah.
And it's you keep digging, you keep trying. Right, so you still won, but you got to do something better. It's how you learn.
To add on to that for a second, you and I can both agree on this. That 13-year-old kid racing for a championship right now in K1, that's the world to him.
Oh,
We could totally relate to that. All of us can.
Yeah.
So not a fan of the electric stuff, especially now as I've gotten older and ventured on other stuff. But
There's racing going on. It's some sort of racing, right?
Yeah.
There's still skill involved. And there's
exactly.
competitiveness,
That's
right?
my thing.
Yeah, so
There's
that 13-year-old
there's
that's
still-
racing at K1, that is the world to him, just like
There's
you
still
said.
a technique, and there's still a way to get around that track and how to drive those karts.
It's still karting.
Exactly.
Right? You're
Yeah.
still going karting. I mean, at the end of the day, to your point, it's two things. One, it's butts and seats to go karting that want to go racing, that want to go karting.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a gas-powered go-kart, indoor or outdoor or whatever, or an indoor electric go-kart world, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They are going racing. And hopefully that 13-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever it is, gets older, wants to go racing in a big car.
Well, that's the crazy part to think about, too, with, there's a lot of youngsters, obviously, in outdoor karting, especially, like, you coach, 25 of them. But within the next 15, 20 years, there's going to be a IndyCar champ that possibly got to start at K1, or, or MB2, something like that.
Absolutely.
And probably even sooner.
Yeah, and I think to put a point on it, and we'll move on from that, but you nailed it when you said that was the world to them.
Right.
It doesn't matter what dude, it could be soapbox derby.
Yeah.
We want, if you have the competitive spirit and you like motorsports, it could be RC cars. It pops in my head. Jake French.
Yeah.
Badass shifter car driver.
Kicks ass at challenge. I think the next weekend or two he's out racing his RC car.
He's
Yeah,
going
that's
racing.
right.
Getting
Yeah,
a
I
podium
saw that.
there.
You're going racing. You're going racing.
So you had your contention for Super Series. Next year you move up to some competition karting, win your PRD Pilot Championship.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next step for you? Where were you at mentally in terms of becoming a race car driver?
I think everything kind of started coming together at the end of 2013. Me and Mike had a conversation about me working here, which would ultimately mean that I can't race Super Series anymore
Right.
because I'll be race officiating. So the biggest thing was progression each
Right.
year, move up to the next class. And I was serious about being a race car driver and making something happen, so I knew that the progression needed to continue.
And now you're working at CalSpeed.
Yeah, I'm working at CalSpeed. The success in 2014 with the PRD package, that is all big thanks to Steve Jasinski.
Yeah.
He really set me up for more opportunity. He gave me good equipment. We practiced a lot, and we got the craft down, and we knew what we were doing. So, big thanks to Steve. But that kind of snowballed me into talking to other team owners, getting to know people at the track from working here, signing everybody in, and conversations with Frank Baldozer, and driving a shifter in S3 the next year came about, and we put that program together. Very coincidental, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but a cut track incident by another driver actually decided the championship
I
in the
remember
final
that.
race.
So we're talking about 20, 15.
15.
I know you were close. I'm not sure if you were leading in the final race,
was.
but you were okay. You were close, and I want to say Aaron Schmidt.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Was your rival
Aaron Schmidt and Dakota Fripp.
Dakota Fripp? That's,
That's
right.
right. Dakota
Because
It was a
there, too.
three-way fight.
Aaron Schmidt won the championship. Dakota came in second, and I came in third.
And we were
10
going
points per position.
counterclockwise again. And it was in Scandi, and I was actually about 50 feet from it, saw the whole thing.
Yeah. So, Dakota, Dakota does his thing and passes me, and each position's 10 points.
Right.
And that's how it finished. It was Aaron in first, Dakota in second, me at third at the final race. I lost by 9 points. That one position on the cut track
20-point swing.
was, I just needed to finish in second, and that was ultimately the deciding factor. But we got to learn how to lose, right?
Well, my thing is, I just feel like you really Casey Cook.
I feel like I'm working on making sure I don't win championships at this
I think
point.
he's just trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
Well,
and if a championship happens, it happens.
the championships are what's messing up the consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
if he
killing
gets
it.
a championship, something's
Man,
wrong.
he won. He won all these
off my
championships.
game.
Maybe it's karma. You won so many championships indoor. You won too many, and so
Sure
now
hope
you got
not.
payback. You got payback. Anyway, so you do not win the. We're talking about Los Angeles Karting Championship, LAKC Championship, and S3, which is stock novice shifters. But is it that year you go Supernats, or is it the following year?
Oh, next year. I
Hell
go,
yeah! So we're gonna
PKC.
start shifter racing at the beginning of the year, and we're gonna go Supernats racing at the end of the year. And I want to say at one time, very close to the final. I can't remember how close, but you were P5.
P5 in Super Sunday.
Come
final.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I qualified fourth.
And you were there pretty much all weekend, I think, fourth consistently.
Yeah, well, let's kind of go back to the PKC races I had raced. I raced only 3 of them.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I didn't do too hot. I mean, it was like top 10, but it wasn't anything to be wowed about. And when we showed up to Supernats, we threw a different axle in it, and the cart came to life. The cart was slightly bent, but we worked around it. Thank God that year, the Supernats track was predominantly left-hand turns.
Nice.
And so
I've heard this before.
Ben,
when you have
it
works
worked
out.
out perfect.
It
So
always works out perfect for Casey Cook when the
yeah,
is a certain direction.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But fourth place qualifying, and you know how Supernats works. That sets you up for every heat race where you qualify. So I started fourth in every heat race, and I think I finished like third, fourth, and sixth, and one other like close to top 5 finish. And it started me fifth for Super Sunday, and running about fifth place, sixth place. Told the kid behind me, "Don't run me over. I'll let you by, just so I make sure I could go to work, the next week and not get hurt." And he starts holding me up, so I pass him, and then he dive bombs me the very next corner, runs me over, and I gathered it back up. I ended up finishing 15th out of 45. Still a solid finish, and I thought I had some top 5 action.
You finished. I didn't
finished.
finish.
I know, this sucks. But I was surprised. Like my performance all year, I was struggling. And I was like, I can't get this to work. I didn't have the equipment. I wasn't getting the seat time I needed, I think, and so for it to all come together during Supernats was pretty special.
Yeah.
And probably, one of the highlights so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of those
One of
moments
them.
where you have a situation where you feel like you walked out of it going, you know what? I think people might think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
100%.
maybe.
And
Yeah.
that's, I'll tell you right now, I guarantee you, like I know when you came back from that, it was, because I think we were all surprised, not because you, not just solely from the results, but because we are being your friends, talking to you prior, it was like, man, top half of the field, come on, let's go for 10. 10 would be
Top
badass.
5 was not in conversation.
Yeah.
It was not
And then-
expected.
I think
and
it was
you
close.
qualified. Come on.
I think it was
Casey.
close to like what Mike had for this last year. Make the final.
Yeah.
Make
Oh,
the
yeah.
final and go from there.
Yeah.
And dude, for back then, S3 was. I mean,
Well,
the
it was
class was
S2.
novice. Or sorry,
Yeah,
you raced
S2.
S2. But all the S3 kids were there, and all the S3 kids you were racing, even though it says novice, they're out here every weekend. Running the hot shit, and you were jumping in as you could.
Well, when I was in S2 and I was racing with Pickett,
yeah.
I was racing with Andrew
badass.
Berjoso,
Oh, really?
Kyle
Pedrosa
Wick.
was there. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all those guys were S2, and so
Pedoso, right?
Colin Daly
he's a
with
winner.
DR.
Yeah, Daly was a badass. What's Wick, national champion?
Yeah.
So all of them are now the S1, top guys or rock or whatever.
They didn't take a job at Porsche. That's what happened.
Yeah, so I had to get back to actually making money and not spending it.
He's
But
like, "How's your bank
It
account?"
was a lot of fun to mix it up with those guys that now I'm getting to flag for occasionally and watch them race and be like, hey, I remember mixing it up with you.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, and
it
also
was
probably
cool.
10 years their senior for some of those guys plus. Or
It let me know that I was halfway decent.
Yeah.
Being able to mix it up with those guys who are
100%,
running
dude.
up front now.
All right. So do Supernats. You had, solid 2 years shifter. Good showing. 15 and 16. Where are you at now? Where do you think you're going to head to?
Yeah, so after the success at Supernats, didn't really have any plans that actually came together. I took a 1-year hiatus from karting. Needed to get the finances back on track, make money, not spend it. So let's fast forward to 2018. The 206 program, which was growing rapidly. Some good grassroots racing, affordable, really competitive, lots of racecraft.
Happened at Tri-C, yeah.
Yeah, Tri-C. And so, that's kind of where it brought all of us together,
When it actually started in the CalSpeed Championship 2016. Well, actually, they actually ran the whole thing.
Well, it started in
2016.
16.
Yeah, all of
And then
2016.
It had some good spotlight.
Yeah, had a
at the
couple of guys.
championship.
2016, they did the CalSpeed deal with that. But, man, it blew up. I think they did big races at the end of the year. I did the testing for VLR, and there were some 25.
Is that 2017?
16 still.
16.
16? Okay.
Yeah, because we
The
were doing
last
the
2
testing
races
on the
were the
VLR.
biggest. He was on a VLR for both of those. I did the second last race with Seisman,
The rental rocket.
the rental rocket, on an old ass 2008 Burrell, I think it was. Anyways, it went from like 3 people, 5, 8, and then, last 2 races,
30.
25, 30.
Wow.
And then
And that was
Incredible.
16, and then 17 it was rolling.
17, yeah, we had another 30 kart field, pretty much.
Well, and that was with you had junior, pretty sure you had junior.
think
You
they
had,
were
but
there,
you
yeah.
had spec, you had senior, and you had masters. So you had masters started around. It was the
Started a
mixed.
little late, yeah.
Point is, 206 was killing it, and
So-
you didn't run it all in 17.
No.
Were you? So you were just working?
Yeah.
What were you doing at the time?
I did a little bit of driver coaching here and there.
That's when it kind of started then, or
And
did
then
you,
I think I did a few Super Series races, but it was just everything was
Yeah.
sprinkled in. I was more focused on other stuff at that
Making
at
money.
That time, making money,
Yeah.
paying bills rather than spending it. So I didn't really invest too much time into racing that year. Kind of focusing on what the next step was, and that's when I started conversations with Dwayne Lawson, and he was already racing the 206 at that time in 2017.
you were actually coaching him? I think we're in
Well,
17.
Yeah, so I basically started coaching him because he had a backup chassis, he had a backup motor. He said, "Hey, come to the track with me. We'll put you in the cart, coach me." And I think that's what led to the start of the 2018 season.
You met him during Super Series, though? Or?
I met him, 5 years before that here at Super Series.
Yeah.
And we always chatted. We were good friends. But he had also was a huge part in my success with the shifter with Scusa. He was a
really?
main
That's
sponsor.
right. I remember that.
Yeah, he was a main sponsor. He contributed a lot of the support.
That's when the Destiny
the
Racing
Destiny
thing
started,
started.
yeah.
exactly.
I forgot
about
Yep,
that.
Destiny Racing, Destiny Innovations and Supply. His company definitely helped the support. He believed in me. He gave me the opportunity. You saw what we did with that season, and we kind of wanted to do something together where we were having fun. So I think the 206 program at Tri-C was no better place.
Yeah, and he was already running in spec in 17.
was?
Dwayne,
Yeah.
Yeah.
spec and masters. I think he was doing
I
two
think
classes.
he was doing both.
So he's running. Dwayne's already running spec and masters. We're talking 206 in the VLR chassis from RLV. That's the spec package, and he's running that. But he wants to bring on. He wants to go for a championship, and he brings on one of the best in business, right? Casey Cook. So the 17 seasons by the wayside. We come into, which was Derek's first 206 season. He said he had done the finale.
Right.
Actually, did you qualify on pole?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
did.
Derek
The next
qualified.
time
I remember that for some reason. I wasn't
think-
even involved.
Yeah, Derek qualifies on pole in Andy Saisman's FTK. So, real quick, Andy Saisman starts this 206 lounge, basically to get people involved. Derek reminded me to tag all these people, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's getting new people in the game, but Derek, not new, if you will, but definitely a shoe. He jumps in and obliterates everybody in the finale.
It was second to last
Second
race,
last?
but I did like half a session on Friday in the go-kart. I'm like, Andy, you mind if I jump in just to see what happens? He's like, yeah. And wrong gear. I'm like 2 or 3 teeth off. Cart's not getting full throttle. And I'm like, all right.
It's because it's a rental.
Yeah.
Started strong, it sounds like.
Fair. And Taylor Jocelyn, who was the mechanic for that 206 lounge, loved working with him all day. That was awesome. And the best part was, man, his demeanor is just awesome. That was the best part. Taylor's demeanor, yeah. He just never gets frantic. He'll get on the chip, but his voice doesn't get loud. He doesn't freak out or anything.
So
He keeps his
composed.
cool. Exactly.
It's the way he officiates, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. But anyways, yeah, get in on pole. I think you're starting next to me.
Nah,
I'm pretty sure we're starting
Stop.
side by side.
no way.
Yeah, we were.
I don't think I qualified.
Yeah, you did. We were starting. Yeah, it was 1-2 for
Like
us.
you didn't qualify? Like you.
Well, I was doing tire testing and stuff, too.
Nah,
Okay.
you definitely qualified.
Well, what the mile lapses thing.
Anyways,
This will be edited.
we start. Yeah, we start 1-2. Day goes on. Anyways, 18. You know, you're jumping in a
Oh,
206
we're spinning ahead. So we're talking about you, and then we get done with what happened. We're not going to talk about
because we're gonna have a
you.
Derek and Mike episode.
That's true, okay.
So we're gonna have a Derek and Mike.
All right.
Episode.
So
Anyways,
I'm guessing that race didn't
It,
really
it
end
did
up
not
too
finish
good,
the
huh?
way Derek wanted it to finish. Is where we're going with that. But
Started
we go
on
to,
pole though.
we,
Yes.
We'll end it with that.
Oh,
I qualified ahead of Mike, Race,
that's
a
not
few other people.
surprise. Because that was still the group qualifying. So,
I was on my own.
anyways,
You
anyway,
needed 10 laps to get into rhythm.
the reason why I want to bring up 2018 is because all 3 gentlemen at this table, well, 2 gentlemen and me, at
Nice.
this table are on track.
Got to have some fun.
Well, and to be fair, it's not like we haven't been on track before, but this is the first time we were on track where,
Competitively.
quote, it mattered, right?
Yeah.
So we're all on track. We're all in senior. I'm the defending champion in senior.
Are you?
I won it in
You won
2017.
17,
Okay.
yeah.
Derek was 3rd in that championship. However, I went into 18 going for the Masters Championship because they lowered the weight, and flat out, I was fat. I did lose some weight, and I wasn't that bad at the beginning, to be fair. So, I mean, it's not like I had a disadvantage. or
Working
anything like
for
that.
senior. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But-
you're in the ballpark.
But the other thing is, both Dirk and I are running for RLV, right? So we got good equipment. You got good equipment with Destiny, and it's like, okay, we're all buds.
It was
We talk to
Man.
each other all the time. We help each other. It's like we all know each other's tricks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I'll tell you right now, that was one of the toughest damn championships. I mean, I bagged out, right? I quit 1 round early. I mean,
Out of respect.
yeah.
I think there's that
out of
respect,
respect.
thing.
I like that.
Call her flop or flip.
He pushed you to victory the whole season. He's like, I don't want to be a part of this last round.
That last round was
wanna-
a shit show. I'll
wanna
tell you
make
what.
sure-
Man, she's
It was by
Casey was
far,
hell of
alright.
a season. Hell
by
of a
far
season.
Yeah.
one of the most fun years of my life in racing. Just with you 2 cats, not on Grande 4 with you. You're an idiot, Derek.
Just in one corner, I was pretty good everywhere else.
Not
to be
yet.
fair.
We were all like, stop holding this up.
Contino.
You have the fastest cart. Go.
even you started working with the mic.
Yeah,
I started becoming his teammate.
But no, you for sure as stressful as the year was, and you know, you and I, all 3 of us at one point, going back and forth for points and whatnot. It was awesome that it was us 3,
Oh,
and it was
without a
fun.
doubt.
Not the
Without a
most
doubt.
trustworthy group at times, but it was definitely the most fun.
Well,
No.
I mean, if you look at it, we've done testing together.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So we know the tricks
God.
of each other. We also have to start playing the game. We're like, I got to throw something at him that he's not going to expect.
out of character.
Yeah,
You got
out
to
of
do some
character.
out of character stuff.
Right.
Man, I taught you some of the damn tricks.
Oh, dude.
It's
The
not.
quick lift, holding you on the outside, just letting you hang out there.
Dude,
That's the big. That's the
I
mic
was.
move.
You did that to me up here, and I'm like, you're really gonna pull that shit on me right now? You did that,
Yeah.
going into 4, but you're really gonna pull that shit on me right now?
I tell you what, we'll put a point on it because we
could talk about that year all day.
All day. Some of the most damn fun I've had with two of the people I think the most of, and if we could do it all the time, where it didn't, we didn't have to spend any money, and it didn't matter what happened to the go-kart. Oh, you mean testing? Yeah.
Oh,
I would do it all
yeah.
the time. I would do it all the time, and by testing, Casey, and obviously I'm talking about sport car testing for CalSpeed, and certainly some of the most fun the three of us have had in one day on a regular basis is getting a chance to do some testing and stuff like that.
That 2018 season, I really, really appreciate racing with you guys. I think it took us out of our comfort zones with each other.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah, it
we
did.
experienced a different side to our personalities and our character when we're in that competitive state. Still being friends, but at the same time showing that competitiveness and kind of playing the head games. Not gonna lie, there was some head games involved.
Yeah, there was those funny moments where I'm like, just thinking about after Scales came out in the cart, I'm like, is it okay to BS with Casey right now, or even Mike?
Or is he pissed?
Or can I not?
I
say
actually
hi?
think the three of us probably handled it better than our car owners.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
so
Yeah,
that's,
probably.
I mean,
yeah,
Derek and I are sponsored by RLV, and
I'm over here messing it up for you guys.
and we knew right out of the gate you're going to be one of the guys to beat, if not the
Right.
guy to beat. And I don't think Dwayne was not a huge fan.
No.
And to be fair, I was being
the whole
a
Huff
pain in
camp,
the ass.
the whole Huff camp Destiny
Yeah.
Racing was
Yeah.
screw those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
lost-
yeah, screw them. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Yeah. I'll go hang out with them for a little bit.
I think I lost a lot of likes on the Facebooks from that.
Yeah.
But hey, big shout out to Dwayne Lawson,
Come on.
Destiny
100%.
Racing, hooking it up on the ride.
Quite a
Josh
few
Huff
years, man.
for the support. That was they put that whole program together for us to go racing and having a great time and some great laughs. And you beat me in the championship ultimately. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it was
that was
Dude,
awesome.
to beat Casey and anything is awesome, even if it is a BS test.
Again,
to
I finished
beat-
second.
Yeah.
a lot
Not
of
that.
seconds.
Hey, you beat Mike Smith, so there is that.
Yeah.
You didn't run that day. No, for sure. I got straight up beat. You guys straight up beat me.
There's a
100%.
story to every race, though, which was fantastic.
Yeah, there definitely was. You know what I liked even better though? It was the championship that came down between us on the old track.
Oh man.
I thought that was even
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Well, the final race was
The last
finale was
race, so
something else,
I
man.
didn't race, right? So like we're talking about. So I didn't run at all. I had wrapped up the Masters Championship the previous run, right? And I was gonna either finish third or fourth in the senior deal. So I said, piss on it. I'm gonna work with Derek,
Right.
And we're gonna make sure we can beat Casey. Casey, that's how good you are, and your team is. That we need it. Hey, I'm gonna
pull all the
focus.
resources
Yeah.
and focus on
sure.
this thing.
Not like the equipment's not good, but maybe another, head onto the whatever. So we're gonna get after it, make things happen. And it was we had David Vasquez was there. I think
Vasquez,
we had
that was the
Elijah.
race that my front bumper got ripped off by your back bumper.
rear,
No.
Yeah.
rear mate. Your
No,
rear.
yeah,
it was
my
ironic.
rear got
By
ripped
my
off by
front.
your
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
It was ironic because that same thing had happened earlier in the season, or earlier in the day. Was it the same day? It was different. It was earlier in the year. Because your rear bumper, Dirk, yours had popped off.
No, my valve stem.
All right,
Valve
so this
stem.
is what
Oh
this
my
is. I was
God.
like, he did it on purpose. I
Yeah,
swear to God, he
was
did it
so-
on purpose.
he was
ripped
so
my rear bumper off
convinced
with
that I
his front
planned
bumper.
this.
You guys
He
can't talk over each other, by the way.
slid it right in there, ripped it off, and I was like, you know what? That is payback for when I put my front bumper
That's
inside
what
his
it was.
rear rim.
I told him you
ripped
and
his
I were
valve stem
practicing
off.
how to practice how to rip off bumpers, and it worked.
That's 100% what it was.
Yeah.
It
So-
wasn't a bumper earlier. It was earlier in the year. You guys are racing hard.
Yeah.
And your bumper ends up snagging.
He goes to
Casey's bumper snags your valve stem. You go flat. You
Yeah.
go piss off. You're done.
Yeah.
And we're talking like for the lead. I'm pretty
This
sure.
is the no. This is the second or third race, and it's like
We're like fifth or sixth.
no, it's yeah.
And Mike is going away.
But actually, it's like some of the other VLR drivers that are on there. Mike Hendricks is down here.
Yeah.
So the top three just got that much harder to be in. And we come out of Horseshoe, and we're actually fifth and sixth. The top two guys in the points, fifth and sixth. And I'm like, okay, let's just go. Trying to both of us make up some points here. And I open it up for carousel. what happens? I just see this
Not Derek.
this blue nose come in, and then my tire goes flat.
Yeah.
But credit where credit's due. Casey was not happy. He felt terrible. Yeah. He for sure felt like crap.
Well, we come out of horse or carousel, and I look back, and you start slowing down, and I saw you look back at the tire, and I start slamming my wheel like, God damn it! I just did that to my friend, my homie.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I didn't want it to happen. That's not intentional at all.
At that
but I
point,
also felt like I was in there, and I didn't think I was deemed a race penalty.
Hey,
Which
you know what?
we went and talked to the race
I
director.
even went and fought for him.
Yeah, he went and fought me. He's like, hey, he was in there, and whoever was race director at the time was, well, no, we didn't see it that way, so they still gave me a penalty. Yeah. But regardless,
either way, I walked away.
It was last race, and it was
Not in that
payback,
No,
guaranteed.
Nice.
As soon as I heard the come out of that tire, I'm like, bumper.
I'll tell you right now, nobody questioned Derek's ability to hear
that
pounds per square inch. Anyways, so I'm going to give both you guys massive credit because at the end of the day,
definitely a ton of fun.
No, you get nothing because both you guys are getting the credit. I mean, the way you guys handled both things that year, I was absolutely playing a third fiddle, and you guys were the freaking best. Myself and Riley Dugan were also right there. We had Drew Zeller in fifth, I believe. Mm-hmm. We were hanging out against the two best in the business right there at the time. We had other cats come in there and play, but you guys were it. And I'll tell you right now, Dirk, you won the championship. Casey, that finale was that last main.
That was an awesome drive, man.
Which
15th to first,
which
last
you
lap.
absolutely should not have gotten that win because of that cut track.
But
anyway, we're going to move on to the next thing.
Well,
so,
it was legal then. It should be legal now.
I love it. Full circle. Full circle.
I like
okay.
It. All right.
We're going to move on, though. So real quick, though, because we're going to move on from what we're doing in karting here in your career here. You did get a chance to get back in the seat here in 2020. Did you do anything in 2019? What did you do in 2019?
Actually, the only stuff I did in 2019, I think I did a couple one-off races, but also the Lucas Oil Scholarship Shootout.
No, we'll get back to that. I want to get into car stuff.
That was the only racing I did, though.
Nothing in karting.
Nothing until this year.
Nothing in karting. So at the Tri-C opener, he's the surprise guest to the full circle right
2014.
there. Steve Jasinski, KA.
Yeah.
So you're getting back in the seat of a KA. You're getting back in a go-kart after a year off. You got to be stoked.
Super stoked. Last minute, nothing planned. We literally put that go-kart together Thursday night before Saturday. On a chassis that hadn't been driven in maybe 5 years, 4 years.
That's overrated.
It's a Tony kart. It's fine.
Well, and last we heard, it was bent. I was like, all right, whatever, put it together. Let's try it out. We were actually doing that week before.
Your life.
I had coaching that Sunday after Tri-C. So we were actually putting...
Let me get this straight. We're going to go race on Saturday, and I got to go to work on Sunday again. And then work again on Monday.
Well, no, we had no plans to race. It was all about putting a Leopard on that Tony kart. We put the whole thing together. We plumb it, and it's like, all right.
And the Leopard,
how did the conversation...
Leopard was for coaching.
For coaching, yes. We had no intentions of running KA. How the conversation came up was, hey, remember 2014, all those good times we had, me and Steve?
Wow.
He's like, yeah. I got an extra KA. I was like, yeah, is it fast? He's like, yeah, it's pretty quick. All right. Hold on.
You didn't ask about the chassis, though, did you?
No, you can drive around that. Motor needs a little bit of love, though.
Right.
So, a few phone calls to make sure I could get Saturday off from work, check my budget, make sure it's okay with the girlfriend.
Make bad decisions.
We ripped off the whole entire Leopard engine, put the KA on. Morning warm-up, first time I hit the track.
I love it.
Problems out the gate the whole day.
I know. It was not good.
I had to work out bugs.
It was not good. But I'll tell you what, that main, you're rolling.
Yeah.
You're rolling.
Yeah, well, so first heat, we qualified like dog crap.
Nope, shit's fine.
And we...
no shit?
Yeah, we ended up in the crap in the middle of the pack going into turn one. There
was a decent amount of drivers there at the day, too.
There was 18.
Solid.
Yeah. There was 18.
Yeah.
That was a big group.
So going into turn one, and some dude just sends it up into through the marbles on the inside, takes out like fourth row. And I put my hand up, and the guy behind me doesn't understand what a hand up means, puts me into the crap, and I ended up hurting both of my arms and bent up the whole cart. So we started last, fixed the cart up. Second heat race went from 18th to 11th in the main event. Went from 11th to 6th on the first lap, and then the gas tank came undone.
Yeah.
That's no excuse.
Yeah,
That's
so
What lap? 2?
Lap 3, yeah. So we were rolling. We finished 6th, but wasn't how we wanted to start the season. We were expecting these bugs. We were expecting
Yeah, for sure.
to try to get rid of all the motor problems that we had with carb issues, chassis issues. I think we still came out of that day better than what we should have. Yeah, so I didn't have good equipment. That sucks for all you guys. Yeah,
Right,
coronavirus.
I'll tell you what. I've had off equipment. It's tough.
Yeah.
The car in the 4-stroke, we joke about it, but it's true. In the 4-stroke, you don't have to have the, the.
You can drive around enough stuff with that, yeah.
You almost need soft is
Well-
not bad because you don't want too much grip.
Mm-hmm.
The K8, you don't need more or less grip, if you will. You need the chassis to work, and if it don't work right because it's noodling, you got a problem. And
You can't do nothing about that.
no, you can't. And we're gonna.
But
we're-
full disclaimer, that Tony Kart chassis that might
for
be
sale?
ancient. It's not for sale.
Oh,
It's not
man.
noodling. We got that thing rolling. Watch out.
Oh,
Watch out.
come on.
Round 2 in
love
like
it.
a year.
Is it
Yeah,
still?
exactly.
Whenever round 2 comes.
Oh, don't do that to me.
A lot of confidence in that camp right now. We got multiple chassis.
Are you
to
kidding
test.
me? No,
We're gonna be rolling.
We're gonna take. What is it? Maybe I say 3 or 5 seconds serious. But we're gonna take about maybe 1 minute, whatever. Huge shout out to Jasinski
Yeah.
because
He's
that's
made
how
so
that's
much
how
stuff happen.
the guy across the table from me, Casey Cook, has gotten his role.
That's how Derek did.
That's how Derek
Yeah.
did it. It's how Robbie Stanovich with his dad got that thing rolling. Drew Zeller,
Riley
come on, guys.
Dugan.
Riley Dugan. Come on, guys, help me out.
What about us? What about the award?
Oh, the Calvins.
Sportsmanship.
Calvins.
Award.
The
The
Calvins.
Miles and
And
Logan Calvin.
And then last year
Jasinski.
you got the Jerry Flores. Or
No,
no,
Jerry
Henderson.
Well,
Sorry.
I was gonna put that at the end, but come on, yeah, I mean,
Jerry Henderson.
We
yeah.
talk-
Jasinski's been there for a lot of people to get their stuff started, to give them a deal and make stuff happen.
and talking about just grassroots karting
Yeah.
and getting butts and seats and new butts, not sport carts, right? But that's CalSpeed's job, right? No, getting a chance to go out there and play, getting out there and a chance to prove yourself. Steve Jasinski's given people an opportunity. Here's the equipment. Maybe you figure out how to fund it. Derek, you've done your job or whatever. We get your sponsorships or getting your partnerships, but give them the opportunity to go show that, you know what, guys, I know what the hell I'm doing behind the wheel. I am a wheel man, and I can make shit happen.
Steve Jasinski is also a wheelman. I think he's really come into form the last couple of years. He
Man,
asked me to coach
he's
him
like,
the other day, and I
hey,
said,
On what?
I can't coach you. You already know everything, man.
You
it's
know what?
decision making at this point. You are fast.
I'm looking forward
You're one
to
of
the
the
Steve
fastest
Jasinski
drivers.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Steve Jasinski, he's on the list.
No,
sure.
these
We're gonna do
last
it.
2 years have been awesome for him.
We're gonna do it. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna talk about Casey's favorite karting story.
It's going to have to go back to Sodi World Series 2014, Le Mans, France,
Nice.
with Darren Mercer. There's so many stories I could name, and that are close to that experience. But if I was to pick one, at that time, being elected, one of 2 Americans, one of 4 Americans, or whatever it was, to compete in the Sodi World Series, me and Darren Mercer from CalSpeed also. Me and him, we actually raised a bunch of money. We started a GoFundMe, and we were blown away by how much support we had got from our fellow racers, our peers, our family, our friends. And we earned enough money to go to France, paid for our plane tickets. Rob Niles and CalSpeed Karting and Mike, they all chipped in on half of the entry fee, I think, or the entry fee itself. They made it happen. So going over there was an experience because I've never been out of the country, 1. But 2, getting to compete in a international world championship where there's 20 other countries, right, being represented. And at a kart track that I've never ever seen in my life, which was, top notch.
Yeah.
Grass everywhere on the outsides of the tracks. They had concrete garages, a hell of a facility. The track was super technical. Really, just it was top level. So
And the weather was perfect.
yeah. We'll get into that. The weather was wet.
Makes me happy. I
Super
turned
wet.
down going. I'm super
Super
happy.
wet.
They invited me. I'm like, nah, I'm okay.
You're Derek's over here going, you know what? You should take Casey Cook and Darren Mercer.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Good job.
It was
Derek.
me and Logan Calvin originally.
Oh, nice.
So for those of you that don't know, at that time I had only raced rental carts, and CalSpeed does not run their rental carts in the rain. So when me and Darren end up having to drive rental carts on slicks in the rain, it's brand new. We're virgins. We had no idea what to do. Thankfully, we had paired up with the Brits, who knew a lot about driving in the rain, so they shed a lot of light on us. Our
Just
first
curious,
race out there,
Was it any of the Brits that you later met at Grands?
no.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
Piers Pryor was one of them that I still stay in contact with, but he's never come over this way. Real cool chap, though.
He'll appreciate you saying chap. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
He'd appreciate it, too. But yeah, they shed some light on what to do. And I didn't know this at the time, and I'm sure all of you that are listening understand that in the rain, you do not drive on the racing line. You drive off the racing line. Find the grip somewhere else, right? And we didn't know this. So our first sessions out were terrible. We were spitting out. We were off into the grass. It was not good. But we figured it out. We adapted. We learned. And I ended up finding the podium multiple times that weekend in the rain in a setting that was very intense. And aside from the racing and all the success that we found on track and just having a good time with meeting other people from other cultures and different countries and getting to kind of BS with them, experiencing France itself and Le Mans and the people there, trying to learn a different language, even though we butchered their language very badly, they still appreciated it. So we got to go have some drinks with the rest of the crew, and we had some good times kind of exploring the wilderness out there and eating Pringles, and it was a good time.
Jeez.
Very good time.
So who was because there's a ton of different personalities, especially when you got a bunch of different countries. Who was the one country that America had it in for that weekend? As in you and Darren Mercer.
America had it in for, or people had it in for America?
We were
Yeah,
two
right.
people out of 80 from
guys
20
can't
different countries, right? So,
Right.
Can't make
Had
a
a
lot
few
of
from
enemies,
each.
I would think.
Yeah, we have not a lot of people liked us. I could tell, at least from how they raced us. But it seemed like
The biggest rivals for the weekend.
I don't know. I couldn't say. I don't want to call out any country specific. Italy. For whatever reason, this one Italian guy just kept gunning for me. He
Oh,
kept
really?
hitting me off track. I was not.
It was his
happy.
vision. That's all it was.
Most likely.
All right, so we talked about karting the entire episode because it is the karting conversation here. But let's talk about some other racing. You, I know lately you did some open wheel stuff. We'll get to that in a second. Have you done anything outside of karting that you want to share?
Once upon a time, I don't know, maybe 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, I went to Ventura Raceway, and it's a circle track, dirt, oval. Got to race, I don't know, what did they call it, mini stocks or hobby stocks, but it was in a Pinto.
Nice.
So,
Still a car?
still
a car?
Probably.
When you're
Yeah.
in the seat, are you thinking back to 11-year-old you and the
go-kart
sprint
world?
car? No. Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Or go-kart world and the sprint car?
It came natural. Yeah, I mean, driving on the edge of a tire, driving on the edge of grip is something that's kind of, a lot to do with how we're driving, right?
Right.
We have to be fast. We got to drive on that limit, on that edge. So you're constantly past that edge. So to drive sideways past that limit constantly is a lot of fun. But now you're in an underpowered Pinto that has a bus driving wheel, where when you have to go into the corner
What
and it
kind of
starts
bus?
going sideways, you're doing hand over hand.
Bluebird, obviously.
You're doing 9 and 3 hand over hand until you get your counter steer, and then when you start to come back out of the corner, hand over hand back to straight. So instead of like in a sprint car, you're probably turning in, 45, 50 degrees back the other way, counter steer.
You're not
You're
grabbing.
not crossing your arms.
Yeah.
You're sitting there bus driving. You got a big wheel, and you're turning that
You
steering
got the
rack
knob on it.
until I
just
felt like that would have
spinning.
helped. Yeah, but and then we're out there at the same night that the sprint cars were there, so they're laying these huge ruts. And now I got this underpowered car dropping the right rear in these huge ruts,
Dig it in
and
really
wanting to
hard.
just send it around. So now you're speeding up your hand over hand, trying to catch it, and I needed some more laps until I blew the engine. Whoever set the timing on that thing definitely messed up.
Yeah, well, they maybe weren't expecting Case of Kick to be behind the wheel there.
Flooring
Halfway
it.
decent, yeah.
Full send.
Man.
I was flooring it.
But that must have been nice, though, to, I mean,
It was cool.
jumping in
I got some heat races in, went through most of the main.
jumping
door to
in,
door.
jumping in something, though, that you're not used to.
First car experience.
Yeah, first car experience, you're like, you know what? It's not overwhelming because it's not fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you had an idea of what was going on, honestly, because of the go-kart world.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know what? That was actually right around the same time I got to drive Al Camano's Corvette.
I was going to ask you about
T1
that.
SCCA T1 class
Oh,
Corvette.
right.
I was gonna
The
ask
race
about
team.
that.
The race team.
No,
deal.
it wasn't the race team.
This
It
is
was
something
my
different.
neighbor.
This is like your buddy or
It
something,
was
right?
my neighbor. Yeah, and so he
Is he
has
still
an
a neighbor?
Indy car.
Man.
He has this Corvette that he was racing in SCCA, and he's like, "Yeah, come race. Come drive it." And so we went out to Buttonwillow, and you know how to shift? I was like, "No, I haven't driven a stick shift car yet." Go mess around in the pits, figure out how to take off. It doesn't have first gear. Super.
Actually, it probably helped you.
But it was fun. I knew how to shift. I had a good idea of what to do. I got out to the track and I did like 3 30-minute sessions that day, and I ended up beating his time by the end of the day.
Wow.
He had already had a whole season in that car.
Well,
so
yeah, the owner of it. Man.
I wheel hopped it a few times, not matching revs, which was awesome. Super crossed up going into Phil Hill.
You driving
Wow.
a what?
A Corvette.
Corvette what?
C6, I think?
C6.
Stop.
Yeah,
I'll
but
tell
no,
you-
it was. Yeah, he was impressed. I was impressed. I didn't know how to really. I never driven a stick shift car before. I did a manual car.
After hearing the
I wasn't.
Now
Heel,
he's
I
in.
was not heel toeing though. Just to
Yeah,
let
well,
you
that was
know.
probably your heel.
It was terrible.
Heel.
There's another 20 seconds out there for sure.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's fast forward here. Lucas Oil, getting a chance to drive the car. All right, that's badass. Okay, getting a chance to go play. You did it. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did it at Laguna Seca first.
You got it.
Scholarship shootout at Sebring. That just happened.
Yeah.
That's pretty
End of last year,
badass, mate.
December.
As an old man, that's pretty badass, bro.
Did you have your beard when you went there, though? Because that's at
Oh,
least 10 years.
that's-
No,
it.
no. Actually, I made sure I was clean cut. I shaved it
Nice.
all off
Oh, good thing.
because I knew the age was gonna hurt me.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you wear glasses?
No.
Good. You don't even need them. I'm just making
I
sure.
left my cane at home too.
Spectacles? No, jeez.
I'll tell you right now, because Derek over here, he looks about 80.
Yeah.
No, he
It
doesn't.
ain't going well for me around here.
But if he shaves, it's like 70 years off his life.
When I just trim it, Mike's like, God, you look so much younger.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Jesus, thanks for being kind about it.
All right. So, anyways, you go and do the Sebring gig, and all jokes aside, you are, quote, the elder statesman of the
Right.
group. You're 28, I think you are on the sheets, it says.
Yeah.
But most of these cats are teenagers to early 20s, right? So, anyways, so you're out there, you're getting stuff done. Look, you're going to a deal where you have to know you're not the target, right? You're not the guy everybody's looking for, age wise, like right out of the gate. It's you're not the guy. You're in the upper 20s. If I'm gonna put any money in a cat as a team owner, probably not going to be in the upper 20s. Never mind however much money you can bring to the table.
Yeah, that's the other
But
big part.
how can you drive? So, Sebring, everyone. He's at Sebring, which is the smoothest track with the most consistent surface you could possibly find.
Didn't know they had ledges at that track.
Ledges.
Oh,
and
ledges in the
and
track
it,
surface.
it didn't even, it was raining,
Yeah, it
wasn't
was raining hard.
It was raining.
Yeah,
but
torrential
not
downpour.
but not even consistently.
It was always changing track conditions.
Exactly.
So actually, one of the sessions started super wet, ended up dry by the end, and one session started dry, ended up full wet. So
And-
challenging
and-
all
And
day.
you've been in the car before at Laguna.
Laguna, yeah, that's
In good conditions at the time?
yeah,
Okay.
fantastic conditions. Yeah, so if we go back to Laguna, I had to enroll in the basic school, not the advanced school.
This is,
and so
once again, it's Lucas Oil
racing school.
Racing School.
Yeah.
But your
and
first time in
so
the
what-
car, they make you take that.
Yeah, they make you, well, you know, they were going to let me do the advanced class based off my experience. And in the advanced course, there's a lot more time to lapping sessions where you get to 30 minutes to plug away at laps. The basic school is actually more about the basics. So you'll do one part of the track at a time. You're going to do lead follows. You're only going as fast as the guy in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Until the final day where their last session, you actually get to stretch your legs. So the seat time wasn't there. I didn't get to push the car as hard as I want or figure out the car as much as I'd liked. But I had done Sebring advanced course before the shootout, 2 weeks before the shootout, which allowed me to push the car more. The difference is when we did the shootout, we did it on the separate part of the track. We did it on the back half of the track for the course, for the advanced course.
That's how they get you.
I was going to say, good thinking on them, though.
Which
No
good.
advantage.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the people who have not ran those cars at that track yet.
No, it's fantastic for business, actually.
Yeah, for the business. But it's also fantastic for the drivers that have competed in their race series prior to that. So another unfortunate circumstance was there's people who already got seat time in those cars the whole season prior in their race series that were allowed to do the shootout, and they had gotten seat time at Sebring already. So it wasn't a level playing field as much as it would sound like, but that was also a challenge. It was something that I needed to adapt to. So, it was a great experience. Sebring in the wet, your hands are full. It's a different type of magic. It's amazing. It's probably one of the best experiences I've had. But the shootout just didn't go the way it should have, and I wanted it to.
Just to talk about the track for a second. In the wet and in the dry, both conditions, what was the toughest corner you thought?
Well, because we only ran half the track, I could point this out. Turn one. Turn one has ledges, literally like 4-inch drops in pavement surface.
Is this on racing line?
On the racing line. And now you throw...
It's just character?
It's just character, yeah, without a doubt. And then when it's in the dry, you're doing these quick counter steers to
Stay ahead of it.
dancing the car.
Yeah.
And you're letting it drive all the way out to the curb on the exit where there's a huge ledge into the dirt.
Wow.
Now let's go back to the rain. Now we have hydroplaning dropping into a ledge, into more hydroplaning, and so you're dancing the car a hell of a lot more.
So
You're also doing like 80 or 90 miles per hour sideways.
So no matter what, turn one was tough.
Turn one was probably the sketchiest. We're not doing the regular final turn, which everybody knows. You're going from
Sunset,
top gear, top speed, into a braking slight right-hander.
Right.
Where the car's probably loading up in the front and you're losing the rear constantly. We had
decent amount of weight transfer.
We didn't run that configuration. We went straight down gears into a right-hand turn, kind of like a semi-hairpin onto the straightaway. So turn one was the trickiest with the configuration that we were running. Yeah, so our hands were full around the whole track.
Right.
Off-camber turns, 2 different surfaces. Then you had the ledges. Then you had the rain. So it had its challenges.
It's not like you mentioned the off-camber. It's not like it's big, right? It's slight enough.
Before the back straightaway is huge off camber, and you go from turn-in on concrete to asphalt through the rest of the corner.
It's basically the CalSpeed of
I was going to make that joke, but I kind of didn't want to.
Without the airplanes landing on it.
Right.
And weight transfer.
Man.
Which actually affects those cars huge.
Massive.
I actually spun out. I spun out into turn one. Full 360, kept rolling, best save ever.
Did you do this right after it?
Should've.
Coming out with you the spinny?
But I got a compliment from one of the coaches that was sitting trackside in that corner. He said, "You spun out. You know why?" I said, "Yes. I loaded up the front too much, put too much wheel into it, lost the rear end, didn't catch it." "Yes, but that was an awesome save." I was like, "Yeah, cheers."
I've got to say that test days are an absolute blast when we've gotten a chance to do it. So getting a chance to go out there in the sport carts with Casey is a really good time. Aside from the test days, and guys, the reason why the test day is so fun for those of you guys listening at home, we just get it's a sport cart. Go to CalSpeedKarting.com, check out the cart. You can see it's got a full wraparound bumper. We're 50 miles an hour ish at our top speed. Our average is 30 something.
Yeah,
and you just dice. You just go racing.
You're around each other the whole time, just racing. It's
You lean on each other a little bit.
Yeah. The speed ain't the thing that draws you in. It's the racing. Just like the 206.
Anyway, these are the karts we're using. And when we talk about testing, we're talking about making these karts close. And getting a chance to roll with Casey Cook.
Yeah.
Man.
Definitely.
It's a good time. It is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, but when Casey's on track during testing, the mentality changes. Every lap is a championship battle.
For you.
Every lap is the last lap.
Oh my God, that is true.
Well,
And I don't think
care
that's just
what
with me on track. I think you guys could be testing with Darren.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing comparison testing. We're not messing around the whole time.
Yeah.
We're trying to make
we're
these
actually
karts,
racing, yeah. And
we're trying to make
seeing what
these
happens.
karts as even as possible.
Can you go racing in this piece of business
And
right
to
here?
do that, you got to go racing. So we go out there and we have ourselves a good time while we're doing it. And
I think that some of us make more realistic moves.
I was about to
others.
say, maybe Casey just does the old school A-main BS that you would back when he was racing Super.
Yeah, nah.
Maybe that's it? No?
C main.
Oh, all right. That makes more
A-main
sense.
is subtle. A-main is subtle.
B and a half man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's still tire marks out there from when you sent Mike into the S's.
Oh.
There's still actually tire marks on the track there.
Yeah, I don't recall.
So, no.
I wouldn't either.
Real
I would
quick.
definitely draw that out.
Real quick testing stories. We're going to go ahead and pull that one out because it's brilliant. We test. We go back and forth. We go racing. Casey made a move late into the S's. I think we were doing
Counterclockwise.
Oh, it
It
goes
could
without
go either
saying.
way.
Anyway, it goes. We're going counterclockwise. Going to the S's. I think it's Classico counter. It might be Technico, but I think it's Classico counter. Doesn't matter. We're going to the S's backwards. Casey makes a last ditch move into S's. Not a bad move, just last.
I was really confident in your peripheral vision.
He was very confident, and the good news is
I would be too.
my peripheral vision is phenomenal. Hashtag vision, killed it. I was brilliant on the vision. I was so good on the vision, and I saw him coming. The thing is that it was so late. He went over the curb on the entry, which whether he liked it or not, that meant he was going directly into the side of me.
Two wheels on the black.
No, you were 2 wheels on the black, sir. You were 100% legal at that point until the contact happened.
100% stupid.
And I'll tell you right now.
Where'd you end up?
I'll tell you right now. Well, I was going to say, Casey made the corner. And you know what? Derek made the corner.
Oh, I managed just fine. I capitalized.
Darren made the corner. Do you know who didn't make the corner?
I think it was the guy who got target fixated on the tires.
It was probably that, yeah.
That's brilliant. Hashtag vision.
Hashtag vision. If you wouldn't have looked at the tires, you would have made the corner.
You would have made the next Apex, 100%.
Yeah. Obviously,
The
I'm
cart-
I totally
the cart-
took him out, guys.
The cart smacking the side of you had nothing to do with it.
not. So I turned into the corner. So, part of it is I had a bad habit of trying to hold the outside. Back when Casey was
You
testing.
still do.
Yeah, that's true. I've even tried to do it with the competition cart and lost.
Oh, God, I have
Big
to
time.
really change the switch on that
Yeah,
one.
so
Jesus.
but anyway, I like to hold the outside, and I tried it. In honesty, Casey was never supposed to be there, but it's testing, so piss on it. Let's go
Why
for
not?
it. He did. He went over the curb. He hit my nose. I was heading straight for the bloody tires. Locked it up and left 2 big black streaks all the way, and just kissed the tires at the end.
Barely.
This
And-
is probably 2 years ago now.
Maybe 3 now.
And the marks are still there.
No, they're not.
I think they are.
Get out of here. But anyway, I all but pissed myself.
Let's take a break.
Because
Let's
I
go
thought we were
check.
gonna. So yeah, no. Right. So it was craziness, and I stopped. Like, wow, man, that was close. And all I see around me is a Casey, a Derek, and a Darren over themselves, laughing. They can't stop laughing because Casey just took out me, and everybody else is just loving the
It
hell
was
out of it.
awesome, man.
Yeah, that's basically testing 101 here at CalSpeed Karting and Sport Carts.
Yeah, we got to see how the carts wreck too, right?
Nice. Yeah, we test everything.
There's
No,
the
but-
crash test dummy part.
Yeah.
It was good times, and you know what? That's one of dozens of stories. And
Multiple dozens.
Yeah, I did the testing back with Cameron Jocelyn and TA and Patrick too, and you, and then Darren and Derek, and
I came into it later, yeah.
man, some of the best racing that I've been a part of. You know,
So
so,
try
so
new
much
stuff.
fun.
Try new stuff, absolutely. So obviously, testing a good damn time for all three of us, and we do it right now with Darren, and it's still a good time.
Very much so.
It's a different kind of good time because he's a little more, I don't know, real. Casey always threw out like God, that would never happen.
Tag World Championship pass for the $10,000
Dude, I'm
purse.
practicing
Exactly.
moves
Here
I'll never
comes
do.
Casey Cook up the inside. And there goes Mike Smith into the tires.
Exactly. All right. Well, Casey, Dirk had one of these questions you want to throw at you. Is there a particular a piece that you wish lasted longer, or that you got a chance to do for more, either whether it be to get a particular result or you just enjoyed it more? Is there any particular facet that you wish lasted longer?
All of them. The only reason I say that is because I think with the pressure of the age that I started at, being a little bit behind as far as age being a factor, and when I got started in racing.
Starting late, yeah.
And trying to progress as fast as possible to make sure that I didn't end up an old man still trying to be a race car driver. That's probably has a lot to do with me progressing out of each class so quickly.
Right.
If I didn't have the mindset of trying to make a race career happen, I think I would have probably spent more time in each class. So,
Everything was definitely a hurry-up program with you. And honestly,
Yeah.
same with me, just 3 years behind in terms of age. And you're probably the reason I had so much a fire under my ass.
yeah.
Because I'm like, Casey's moving up. It's probably a good idea to do so, too.
I don't know if I really stopped and smelled the roses along the way.
Well,
Right.
and actually,
I tried to.
that's a huge point, because I remember when you and I started talking early, you were like, I need to go. You know, and when you started, it was mid-20s, and it's like, I need to get going because you knew you're old
Yep.
already at the point. So you're grabbing gears, you know, figuratively and actually, but you're grabbing gears, moving on. While you wish maybe you spent more time in each individual one for different reasons, is there one that maybe you like more than the others for different reasons?
There's a couple of them that I like more than others for different reasons. Shifters. There's a lot going on. You're constantly busy. Your mind's constantly working. The physical aspect of it really challenges you. But then if you look at racecraft, it wasn't really all there unless you went to 206s.
Right.
I mean, the tag stuff, it was there, but it wasn't like the 206 stuff, or it wasn't like I could probably put the 206 and Super Series stuff in the same boat as far as racecraft.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for racecraft, I know where to go. If I'm looking for using all of my ability and all my skills and trying to get the most out of what I'm able to possess as a driver, that's probably going to be shifters. I'm worrying about what gear I need to be in, what gear I'm dropping down to, still remembering the race line, still working on racecraft, but now we've got mono-to-mono battles, you know, one-on-one versus get passed by 5 people if you make a mistake. So I think the 4-stroke stuff, momentum-based racing, I'd do that all day.
I
All
think the
day.
racing is what you're more attracted to for
Yeah,
them then. I
but-
mean, the driving, you'll go towards the faster stuff.
Yeah, the shifter challenged me. I'm not saying that the 206 didn't challenge me. What challenged me was the racecraft. It wasn't about
Right.
putting down a fast lap. I could do that, right? I could get the most out of my equipment. Getting the most out of your equipment consistently in a shifter is a different type of challenge. Now put 20 other go-karts next to you. Can you still do? You know, can you
Well,
still possess that same
shit.
skill level?
And then 20 laps together. 20 laps in a 206 is easy.
Yeah.
That's no cake, right? I mean,
Yeah, 20,
A shifter is gonna
20
be a little
25
different.
laps in a shifter is
Let's give a shout out to it's
to all you guys racing shifters, guys. You
Yeah.
guys are
you're
studs.
driving with one hand for a whole
Studs.
main event.
Yeah,
And we're going to give an added shout out to one particular driver who won here at CalSpeed at Challenge in the Dark, Jake French.
French.
Who's that?
Come on, son.
Yeah, I was
kidding.
the flagger for. I've been the flagger for Challenge of the Americas the past couple years, and I couldn't even see them. The only thing I could see from those go karts during the final on Sunday when the lights were out because of our delay was the black light
The Micron?
of the Micron
That was badass.
and the
Oh,
sparks.
that was awesome.
The sparks going into turn 1 and a few other corners under braking when the cart was loaded up, and you'd see the sparks underneath. So, well, shout out to every single driver that raced in the KA class and the senior class and the shifter class. hats off to you guys. But Jake French, if you guys looked at his consistency on his laps,
That was legit.
woo! Yeah.
You would think this is his home track.
Wow, honestly,
Man.
What he was basically driving by Braille. We said
Right.
driving
yeah.
off the bumps.
I mean, I think we've
no bumps here anyway.
I think we've driven at those times a day, but those speeds
Wow.
and
Right,
staying that
yeah.
calculated. Mad props, French.
No,
was
good
huge.
job.
It
For
was
sure.
huge. Yeah, and I think that's really saying what he's able to do. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, racecraft. Maybe you go slower to do it. What you can do as a driver, maybe you got to go a little faster to do it.
For sure, Casey. I think all of us and any driver listening can respond to this question. But I think all of us have, we started out karting with the pursuit of being a race car driver. I don't care who you are. That was definitely a thought at one time, or at least a goal. What do you think your missed moment was? I know I had one. I'm damn sure Mike had one. What do you think your missed moment was of getting out of karts, or at least moving up in karts and going to cars, or that transition phase?
Missed moment, as in the opportunity that might have slipped away or I didn't capitalize on.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to think it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
I'd like to think
that's
it was
fair.
in the future, and yeah, if it does happen in the future, hopefully I can capitalize on it. But probably the shootout. I think that was probably a hugest opportunity to make the transition from go-karting to cars. If I was going to make it at a professional level. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of the championships I finished in second on the last lap or the last race had anything to do with me moving up the next year, because the right people saw the right talent, and I'm very appreciative of that. So I don't think there's any missed opportunities. I think those were all necessary for me to learn and go through.
Dude,
I don't think I was a loser at any of those. I think I gained a hell of a lot of experience, and I'm going to take that to the next step.
I can agree more.
My story isn't done. My highlight isn't done. I don't have a single highlight of my career. My highlight is still happening now. And the highlight right now is teaching these youngsters.
And
Makes me so proud.
No, it's awesome what you're doing. I mean, you got some stuff going on with that, Mike. What you thinking about the?
No, I mean, for
coaching?
sure. Yeah, the coaching thing is huge, and it's got a special place in my heart too, because that's what I like to do, and obviously you started doing it as well, Derek.
Right.
But both of us do adults, or
It's the same thing.
or at least double-digit ages.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't get too many youngsters, but every now and again we do. But for the most part, it's you're legal to drive.
Most of them.
You know.
To have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casey, and this is where we're gonna jump into the.
I don't mess with those older guys.
Nah,
No, and I was wondering why.
They're a headache.
what's the
There
point?
you go. There's your answer. They're
Can't teach
headache.
an old dog new tricks.
Let's talk
Just
about
kidding.
Casey Cook Racing. What it really comes down to is you working with the kids. You working with, and by kids, I'm talking about kid karts. I'm talking about cadets. I know you start working with the juniors. So we're talking about with kid karts, 5 to 7, 7 to
12-ish, yeah.
on the
Older side of
mini,
cadet.
the cadet side, right? And then 12 to 15 if they're tiny, right? I think on the junior side, and you just start touching that, and that's because because the cadets moved up to junior. It's not like you were like aiming for junior; they just got older.
Yeah.
Which kind of case in point of how long you've been doing it. Like you said, makes you real proud to get working with them. I know you've been doing a ton of work with kid kart drivers who are now moving up into cadets. Before we start jumping in all the little things that you're doing, how'd you get into teaching the munchkins? Like, I know you and I worked with each other on the coaching side of things. I coached you to a certain extent, not like hands-on. You already knew what the hell you were doing, but little things. And a lot of it had nothing to do with driving. But I don't want to coach kids. I don't want to. That's not my thing, because I don't know how that cart works.
Yeah.
I do driver coaching. I don't know how the cart works. So kudos to you for coaching the kids and the cadets. How's that transition? How'd you get started doing it?
Right. So, yeah, to what you just said, you're a huge part of it. You're a huge mentor in coaching, in the go-kart, and in life. Yeah, you're a huge part of that. But also, before I kind of got into this, Jerry Henderson. he was the guy. He was the one who coached all the youngsters out here, and he was a huge mentor to me as well. I got to spend a lot of time with him before he passed, and he shed a lot of light on me. He shed a lot of great wisdom and knowledge, something that I kind of I really carried with me. And the first two people that I coached, the first two youngsters, was Cooper Hicks and AJ Matheson.
That's right. Yeah.
Kid karts.
Wow. Now they're both juniors.
If they're listening right now, they're in juniors, right?
Jesus. Maybe even driving a car, huh?
They're in juniors, and yes, one of them is driving a Spec Miata. We've been doing coaching in that also. So that is, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Cooper Hicks, AJ Matheson, kid karts, then cadets. There was obviously the hiatus for a little bit, but then we ramped the coaching back up, and we're doing coaching in their junior karts. I'm doing coaching in their Spec Miatas. And now I've got this whole new wave of kids that I'm coaching that I started with in kid karts, and now they've transitioned into the cadets. So it kind of goes back to watching, my mentors coach and teach me everything that I needed to know, and I just observed and I took all that in, and I created my own passion of coaching. So now I get to pass on that knowledge to the youngsters now. So as of now, I've got a few cadets, 3 or 4 cadets that I'm coaching, and I got about 3 or 4 kid karts that I've been coaching. And like you said, you don't know much about those go-karts, or let alone how to maybe I don't want to say you don't, but how to connect with a child.
The tact, yeah. I mean,
it's definitely the tuning.
The tuning is difficult, right?
You think you can talk to a kid?
But
it's a different ball game.
Tuning, though, man.
Kid kart, cadet, vastly different.
I think it's a bigger swing in what you got to do, honestly.
And I didn't know any of it
wheelbase.
until I actually started embedding myself more in the kid kart game and the cadet game. I'd go talk to people that know about setups that I've got to know over the years, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm working with this kid. What kind of knowledge can you help me with on setup? They're fast. I feel like we're lacking a little bit on the setup of the equipment. And I think that's where my knowledge came from was their input. And so that kind of helped us take it to that next level, past just the coaching one-on-one, but also coaching with a youngster. I give so much more praise to teachers out there.
Right, yeah.
Because everybody, each individual, learns in a different pace, in a different way, in a different format. So my challenge is like, who am I working with? How does this kid take criticism? How does he take coaching? How does he take instruction?
All different personalities.
Everything,
wow.
Dude. We got someone who's shy. We got someone who's very, very friendly. We got someone who's paying attention, is super focused. Now we have somebody who's not focused. Now we have someone who's focused but loses focus out on track.
And they could all end up being the same thing on track. Like once they get on track, like you may have a shy kid, or like a busy bee.
Yeah,
and
tough
they get
to
on
get
course
with
and they're
on the grid. Yeah,
super different.
After it.
Or they're completely different. So being able to connect with these kids, I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as building a relationship with a friend. I don't talk down to them. I'm on their level, and I think that's
in terms of height. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, they're catching up to me.
Derek Esquibel.
But it's really cool to figure out what best suits them, and to see them progress, and to see them find success, to see their faces when they come off track on a race day, to see all the hard work and effort that is put in by the kids, by the parents, by me, all come to fruition, and find success and find what we were looking for. It's awesome. It's such a great feeling, and I could talk all day about this, man. These youngsters really put it into perspective for what is important in life.
To add on to that really quick, I got to get a praise to Mike especially, but also you, because so I run the track here at CalSpeed, right? I manage open practice and all the operation stuff, but Mike's coached both of us on how to be coaches.
Yeah.
And to see you transfer it and be able to coach these kids and whatnot, but it's, Mike and I are always chatting about because I had a tough moment last year with coaching and whatnot. I was about to hang it up. I'm like, I did all I need to. No, but But there really is a tact to be able to do what we all do. And I think especially you in the we get it a bunch in the arrive and drive community because it's all drivers within each other, right? And like you've experienced this too with your coaching here at CalSpeed when you're working here. But the students and especially the families, because of the age group you're working with, definitely feed off the coach. And you have the privilege to work with the younger guys or the younger drivers, and a lot of them are brand new to karting, so they're gauging a lot of how the sport is ran by you. And I definitely think you're a great influence on how the sport works, man. And
Yeah.
and there's only more business coming in because of how you are.
Right.
So praise to you on
Yeah.
how you're
Thank you.
running this program, and you're doing an awesome job. I want to keep
Yeah,
seeing it progress.
absolutely.
I'm stoked for you.
I appreciate that, and to that point, I'll make it pretty brief. I'm their main source of this community because they're just coming into the game, so I want to make sure that they are going to the right person for their engine or the right person for
100%.
their track support. I don't want them to be taken advantage of. I don't want them to go to somebody that's going to scare them away based off of budget or if they're not getting the correct service that they need. So if there's anybody out there who owns an engine shop or a kart shop, give them what they deserve, right? Don't take advantage of them and keep people around.
It's
Be
all over.
open, be open and welcome, and let's not scare these people off. Let's build this sport.
It's in all of our best interests, right?
Right.
To just be smart and be fair.
I think it's a win-win-win for everybody, from the driver and the support that they're giving to the shop, to the engine builder, to the track. Everybody's working together, and if everyone's prospering, then we're all working together. We're all building it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well said. Well said. And kind of to that point of you getting involved with the kids and whatnot, and working at the coaching gig, and it's been a lot of fun to see you progress from the kid who did indoor karting to what
He was
am
a
I
K1
doing?
champion, man.
Yeah.
And now look at him.
Look at, and actually, hey,
He turned out all right.
5 seconds serious. If you're doing K1, you listen to this,
there's hope.
it could be you.
There's
Google Casey Cook.
It won't pop up.
first 2 pages. I never
Hey,
Googled myself.
let's talk real quick about what one of your new ventures is for this summer. You're looking to do the Casey Cook Racing karting camp. You're trying to make a bit of an educational program here in the summertime, where you get a chance to work with the kid karts and the cadets to, like you said earlier, learn the basics, learn the fundamentals. Tell us a little bit more about what you're thinking about trying to pull on. I know, obviously, we're in strange times, we're in weird times, but the plan is to try to make this happen. I know the week of 4th of July, and if that can work, that'd be brilliant. But tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to put off there.
Yeah, so I think we're long overdue for a kart camp over here at CalSpeed for the competition kart side. We have Los Angeles Karting Championship, we have the Tri-C Championship, some SCUSA races that run out of here. And as of now, I'm just coaching with kid karts and cadets, so that's all it's going to cater to. But during the summertime, when kids are out of school, we could kind of utilize the midweek program where we have the track exclusively for us, and we could really dig deep into the fundamentals, the racing etiquette, learning about how to execute a race day from morning warm-up all the way till the main event. It's going to be roughly 3 days of on-track activities, classroom activities, video review, lead follow, multiple instructors, still in the beginning details of what we're going to go, what we're trying to accomplish. But hopefully, this whole thing that we got going on right now passes and we can get back to normal life and we could actually throw a pretty good inaugural kart camp here at CalSpeed.
So at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're basically trying to give the foundation to these, whether you've been here to CalSpeed or any track for that matter. But if you've not been as a kid kart or a cadet, you get a chance to kind of see what that's going to be like
Right.
before you jump into the deep end of the pool, if you will. Or even if you've done it before, maybe you get a little bit of tips.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been struggling on that formation lap.
Yeah.
It's,
Just etiquette.
all joking
Some
aside,
simple
with
stuff.
the adults are in the room, some of these kick kart formation laps from the pit exit to the start
Green
line
first.
are
Green
calm
first time
down.
lap.
There was
No,
a
no, no.
LAKC season where
No, no.
the kid carts had the best warm up and starts the whole season compared to every other
Was it
class.
because of a certain flagger? I wonder.
I was flagging and I was coaching at the same time.
All right,
so
here we
let's
go.
go
they
ahead
were
and
just-
talk about
they were
that.
aiming
Plug.
they were aiming for Casey.
Yeah.
The point is,
They
is
knew
that
I was going to give them crap later.
what you were trying
Nice.
to do and what we are trying to do here by giving you this 2 cents here is acknowledge the fact that maybe a little bit of love needs to be given to the fundamentals to these kid karts and these cadets, and getting a chance to let's just start the race for starters.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get past that.
Yeah.
And then once we get past that, we can go racing. We can start learning some stuff, and that's kind of what you're trying to do with this karting camp.
Yeah. First day, we're probably going to touch base on just lead follow sessions, kind of dialing in a race line. And then, by the end of the kart camp on the last day, we're running mock qualifying sessions, learn how to throw down a green-white checkered combo, try to throw out your fast lap, working on practice starts. So
Simple stuff.
I don't want to give out too many details, but there will be more details to follow in the coming months. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for some of the kids that I haven't been able to coach yet. I have so much on my plate and been so busy, and I'm only allocated to only Sundays to work with these kids, and I can only fit so many kids in on each Sunday that I've had to schedule like 2 months out. I'd like to work with everybody, but our schedules kind of conflict where kids are going to school. I got my 9 to 5. This is a great opportunity to kind of come see what my program is all about and really digging deep into the fundamentals, the etiquette, and just, conquering racing.
Well, we've been talking with Casey Cook for the last however long this episode is.
Forever.
And this is our very first recorded episode. Big ups to Casey.
Had a great time.
Again, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a hell of a lot of fun. Casey, you do the coaching thing. As you just said, you do have a 9 to 5. If someone wants to do some coaching with you, if somebody want to do some one-on-one with their kid kart, their cadet, how are they going to get a hold of you?
So if you visit my website, CaseyCookRacing.com, and there's a coaching section, there's a link for my email address as well as my phone number. So go ahead and hit me up with a text. Let me know that you're interested. Give me your details. We could try to set something up or look forward to the camp in the summer. That's probably going to be the best way to reach me. If you do have any questions about getting your kid into karting, if they haven't been already, please use me as a source. If you need any direction on where to go, where to buy a cart, what track to go to, CalSpeed is going to be your best bet. Any of that, feel free to hit me up. Email address, phone, all on my website, CaseyCookRacing.com.
You're here on most Sundays here at CalSpeed Karting. So even if you don't do any of those things, and maybe you're out here just checking us out here at CalSpeed Karting, pop over and find the guy who's wearing the KCR action, or even wearing the suit. You'll be able to find him doing fall leaders in the kid karts and the cadets, and just go hit him up. He'll be able to dial you in.
And Casey actually spelled KC, because some people will try to spell the whole word.
Yeah, just the letter
Whole name.
K, the letter C, COOK, racing.com. Pretty simple. Parents didn't make it too hard for me to spell my name when I was younger.
Good on him.
Yep.
That's forward thinking right
But
there.
hey, guys, I just want to shout it out to you guys for starting this podcast, bringing me on as one of your first guests. Derek, Mike, thank you very much.
Yeah, buddy.
I want to shout out to everybody that's made it possible. From when I started, when I was 20 years old, I'm 29 now. It's been a hell of a journey. Steve Jasinski, Dwayne Lawson, Mike Smith, Derek, friends, family, everybody that's really made it possible, to this point. I wouldn't be here without you guys.
That's badass, man.
And Frank Baldozer, you too. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. Good on you. Hey, and before we let you go, one last thing is we'll call this the outro question. Maybe we can start doing this.
All right.
It just popped in my
I
head.
like that.
Outro question.
Bring it.
Highway justice. Highway
Yes.
justice.
I was
Casey.
just thinking about this yesterday on the drive home with him, so this is awesome.
So before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and do a little.
Let's hear the backstory.
little
on
backstory on this
highway
one.
justice.
Because Derek and I, we always follow the rules.
We both experienced Casey as well.
Derek and I are driving, so we both live in the same complex,
All right,
and we both work in the same complex. So
You do?
We literally are driving
down the street.
I didn't know that.
to the same place in Rancho Cucamonga,
Uh-huh.
and we're driving right next to each other. Like,
His new car's kind of fast. I was a little sketched out
yeah,
yesterday. I'm
you
like,
know
oh,
why? It's
got
because
some pep.
I take it out of drive and I put it in that manual shave.
It's not the car, it's the driver.
Oh,
It's a car. It's
Just
a
laying
car.
knowledge down.
well, if he had taken econ off. Anyways,
Yeah.
point is, long story short, we're next to each other. We're effing around. And we move through the traffic like at
Gentlemanly.
proper
Yeah.
speeds. And we get ready to go to a stop, and I shoot him a little gif. You can be my wingman anytime. From Top Gun.
It was Iceman saying that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
I follow
because
along.
yeah. Anyways, where I'm going with this, my friend, outro question: highway justice. That is not everything I just said. Is not at all
No.
what you described.
You would not get that gift.
No,
You
highway-
would be Maverick holding Goose.
no. Casey
in the water.
Casey Cook
Someone would have
is
died.
highway justice. Is literally somebody who puts somebody in the fence.
Probably like
Oh
closer
wow,
to
you're
maximum
gonna
overdrive.
be that guy who does the things that everybody else is annoyed at
Yeah.
on the streets. Like you're coming off the freeway.
Bring it.
You're like, I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to make this thing happen, and you're gonna go up to the freaking front, and you're like, yeah, nope. That's Casey Cook. That's highway justice. But I want you to tell me the story, my friend.
Well, plenty of stories actually.
Give me one, just one that says but
Pops out to you right away.
Yeah, highway justice. If you look up highway justice in the, it can't be. That's not in the encyclopedia. It's got to be like a Wikipedia.
I know.
right, so-
I know. We had a few when we were driving out here to work
All right,
together.
Oh, come on.
there's let's we're gonna do a generalization, all right?
All right, here we go.
And I use this multiple times on the way from my house to here and back. All right, so what happens if I'm just driving along and I see you cut somebody else off? I'm unhappy. I don't like it. It's stupidity. You're
They
not
didn't
paying
cut-
attention. They didn't cut me off.
No.
No, has nothing to do with me. But I'm gonna move over 4 lanes and I'm gonna get in front of you and I'm gonna hit the wash. I'm gonna hit the windshield wiper wash and I'm gonna clean your car. Guys. How
And you
much
know
does
it's
it
gonna
cost for
happen.
windshield wiper fluid? Like maybe $3. So I waste the whole tank on him.
He wastes the whole tank on him,
That's
Derek
brilliant.
Esquibel. The whole tank.
You know
he
what-
moves over.
Meanwhile, the guy behind him's going, "Oh man,
He's flashing his brights at me. He tries to pull in front of me to hit me with the wash, but then he doesn't realize who he's messing with.
Oh.
And he can't get in front of me.
Don't know who's
Elbows up.
with.
Elbows up
Nice.
driving.
I love
he
that.
can't get by me. He's trying to move through traffic. Well, Casey moves through traffic a little better, and then he ends up behind me, eventually, and then I hit him with the wash again.
Hold on. Let me throw something else at you. The best part of this, some of these stories. So right now, Casey, well, he has a few cars. He's high roller. He's driving a Subaru, and also his transport,
High roller.
his cart transport, which is a Ford pickup, a newer one,
It's a what?
Ford pickup. I don't know what it
I've
is.
seen it. It's out there.
A lot of the street justice was done with a Dodge Neon.
Dodge Neon.
Watching-
Ooh, the rabbit.
Watching the
Flexing.
neon flex. Yep, there it is.
Hold on a second.
So hold on.
You had
His
I didn't
he
even know
would
you had a Dodge Neon.
he would say this. He's like, watch the. I'd be in his passenger seat. He'd go, watch the neon flex.
Real life.
His dad was in the passenger seat
what
one day,
year
and
is
I was
this?
in the back.
What year
And his
is
dad would go, watch the neon flex, and then they'd pull some street justice shit.
What year?
Oh, I don't- what year was it?
Oh, that was 2012.
I was gonna say because I never, ever, ever have seen the neon.
He parked in the back when he got here.
I was embarrassed. Way
Well,
back.
but so what you just said though, bud, is that you said that he was driving the neon,
And they'd say, watch the neon flex.
and he's saying, "Watch the neon," and then his dad
His dad even said it.
is hanging out in the passenger seat.
And when he said that, when his dad said that, I'm like, this is some real shit. They're really about to watch this big flex. But I'll tell you what,
I
they
broke
did some
that car.
moves. They made some moves
that
with that
car
car.
broke so bad.
You mean like it broke down?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
like bad brakes?
Oh, it was head gasket
Yes.
for sure.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know how I sold it.
Oh.
It's someone else's
As a
problem.
roller.
Yeah, but street justice, highway justice. I'm not happy with how people drive on the highway. There's once upon a time I did want to be a CHP to actually try to make sure this stuff wouldn't happen.
Luckily, too many of your friends have already picked up that job.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys are out there on the highway and you're doing some stupid shit and I see you, prepare to get your car cleaned.
That's the justice.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on.
If you're listening, we appreciate you listening.
Thanks for sticking around this whole time.
Episode number 1. We appreciate you guys hanging out on the Full Caster podcast. We'll see you on the next one.